Well, of course, it depends on the application. Many of the applications I've seen, have you ever been found guilty
Okay.
of a crime? That's the applications I'm thinking of.
Well, then that would be fine.
Yep.
But they said, that bothered me that he should have to say that yes, he'd been arrested, and they would give him a
no. You
paper to
see,
carry
some
around.
applications do say, "Have you ever been arrested?" And then it says, "What was the disposition of the case?"
Mm-hmm.
If found not guilty, it was dismissed.
Right.
Of course, that doesn't hurt him at all.
That won't hurt him.
But the cases that I've seen doesn't even go that far. It says, "Have you ever been found guilty of a crime, a misdemeanor, a felony, whatever else it says?"
Mm-hmm. Well, that would be fine then.
Okay.
I just worried that it might hurt his.
Mom, I don't blame you for worrying, but sometimes in life things don't work out right, but you try hard.
No, it doesn't. Sometimes it's not fair.
Who said life was fair?
Nobody, and it isn't.
You didn't say that, did you?
No.
I didn't say that.
No. Well,
because if life was fair, I would have been born handsome.
Oh, well, you probably are.
Thank you, friend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet. Our toll-free number is 1-800-223-4141. One of the advantages that I have over other talk shows is that in addition to book knowledge, my answers are often based upon extensive life experience, and I tell you that nothing equals the knowledge that comes from life experience. Nothing can match the wisdom that comes from life experience. Good evening, my friend. You are on Talknet.
Oh, good evening, Dr. Meltzer.
Hiya.
Fine. I have a question relating to real estate and bankruptcy.
Go ahead.
My wife and I have been separated for quite some time. She moved back out of state, into the area where we have the home.
But you're not divorced.
Correct.
Go ahead.
She's filing for bankruptcy.
No, wait a while. The home is owned by you and her.
Yes, jointly by GI Bill.
Okay. You're still married?
Yes.
Go ahead.
A couple of years ago, it was assessed at $25,000.
Well,
it's in a depressed area, and they say I'll be lucky if I get 16 for it now.
Okay, but that's got nothing to do with the problem.
Okay.
The problem is your wife is filing for bankruptcy, and I guess it's got you worried. Does her bankruptcy affect you in any way?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything that she's filing for bankruptcy where you're involved in a debt?
No.
So in that case, it doesn't affect you at all. So in other words, keep this in mind. This is the year 1987. Women have been liberated. Women are on their own. They have their own credit reports. And therefore, as long as you're not dragged into this bankruptcy, you are not affected by it at all.
Now, can they make me sell the house to cover her bankruptcy?
Right now, the two of you are married.
Yes.
She can sell her share if she can get a buyer, because remember, as long as you're married, a judgment against her does not sell out the house because you are still married. In other words, if you're not, the reason why I kept asking about married is this. Suppose you and her were now divorced.
Mm-hmm.
She would be owner of half the house. As owner of half the house, they could sell out her half, not your half.
Right.
However, as long as you are married, they cannot sell it out even though they have a judgment against her.
Oh, I see.
So therefore, no, they cannot make. But if you do sell the house and she gets half the money, then they can grab it.
Oh, yes. Is there any way that I can just give her the house?
Oh, sure. But not right now. It doesn't make any sense to give her the house now.
Oh. Okay, it's not being rented now. It's just vacant.
And right now, as long as she's in this bankruptcy situation, let the status quo stay.
Oh,
once you come out of bankruptcy, then you can give her the house.
Oh, I see.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Glad to help you. This is what I call a Bernard Meltzer guide to life. In any organization where there's much work to be done and you do not want to do it, here's my advice. There usually is one person around who will volunteer for the job, provided you make that person the chairperson of the committee. Hear my advice? Good evening, friend. Welcome here. You are on Talknet.
Yes, Dr. Meltzer?
Yes, my friend.
Yes, how are you this evening?
Okay.
Yeah. Question I have, is regarding what we should do with some investments. My wife's father recently passed away, and she inherited about somewhere in the neighborhood of $90,000.
Right.
Wife and I are both in our mid-50s, and we were just wondering what you would recommend as
where is it now? Where's the money now?
It's in CDs now. Practically all of it's in CDs.
All right. You're how old?
In the mid-50s.
You are mid-50s, and the wife is mid-50s.
Right.
What's the family income?
About $20,000.
What's the family savings? Eliminating a house.
We own our
Stocks,
house.
bonds.
We own our house with no mortgage on it. It's all paid for.
What do you have in the way of bank accounts, stocks, bonds, everything that's liquid?
Other than this, very little.
Very little. Under 10?
Under 10, I'd say.
All right. The income, the family income is not very large, and the savings are very small.
Yeah.
Next question I ask you is, your house, what's it worth?
Around $40,000.
And no mortgage.
Right.
From what you tell me, I would say that one of the best things you could do with that $90,000 is put it away so that you build yourself a security umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
I would say about a third of it should go into bank CDs or money market funds. About a third should go into high-grade triple tax-free municipal bonds.
Municipal bonds?
Yep, but about a third of it should go into a good mutual fund government.
Would that be a Ginnie Mae?
It could be a Ginnie Mae, yeah. Otherwise, if you think what I've recommended is a little bit shaky for you, I would say then make it 50-50 then. 50% into a bank account or bank CD or money market account, and the other 25% into a government mutual, the other 25% into a triple tax-free, high-grade municipal bond.
Okay, that'd be a triple-rated tax-free.
Right. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Glad to have you aboard. Good evening, my friend. Welcome here to Talknet. Are you there?
Dr. Meltzer?
Yes, friend.
I got a problem, and I thought you might be able to help me with it.
Let's try.
Back in 1982, I bought a house, and it had a mortgage on it. I assumed that, and the fellow I bought from carried back a second. And so then I rented the house for 2-3 years, and then the fellow that I rented to, he bought the house from me.
He bought it from you.
And he assumed the mortgage.
He assumed the mortgage.
And we went to a title company, had a closing.
Right.
And then about 2 years later, I get a call, I get a letter from an attorney from the fellow I bought from, stating that the people to stop making payments on the house, and that they was going to have to sell the house.
Now, let's stop right then and there because you've reached a very important point. I have to take a 2-minute break, and the answer is going to surprise you. You stay put, but sit down when I give you the answer. I'm Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet. My friend, I welcome you to the program that helps you cope with life because as you listen to others as they try to cope, your problem becomes less severe and a lot more clear. Good evening. You are on Talknet.
Yes.
Welcome, friend.
Yes, I was talking about this.
Oh, yes. Pardon me I was looking at a piece of paper. This gentleman, by the way, bought a property. He took over a mortgage that held by the previous person. He assumed the mortgage. He rented it, then he sold it. The person that bought also assumed the mortgage that he had. This is 3 assumptions down the line.
Right.
Now, of course, he's gotten information to the effect from the original party that payments have not been made, loss has taken place, and they're expecting him to make good. Am I correct?
Right.
Now, the answer to it is when you assume a mortgage. When you assume the mortgage, you signed a statement indemnifying the fellow for whom you assumed the mortgage if something went wrong. When you turned the mortgage over to the party number 3, they signed a statement indemnifying you and party number one. So now, of course, you didn't know it, but you signed a statement indemnifying. Now that the loss has taken place, party one is saying to you, I'm going to have to pay out money. I want you to indemnify me. I want you to give me the money. When you get the money, when they go after you and get the money from you, you can go after party number three down the line. Yes, but they can make you make good.
But you see, when I sold this, I went to party number one, and he signed a paper stating that he would accept the party that I sold to.
That's right. You had to do that, otherwise you couldn't assume the mortgage. You couldn't transfer the mortgage.
Uh-huh.
And also, the party number three, well, now that he signed the paper, also said, in case any losses take place, I will indemnify you.
Uh-huh.
So now, party number one can go after you. You can go after party number three.
But the party number one, the man that I bought from, he wrote this statement that he would accept the man that I sold it to. And
yeah, but he did not relieve the obligation that went with it in case of a loss.
Well, now, the title company knew that he was supposed to assume that, or shouldn't they be held responsible for not releasing him?
No.
Releasing me, I mean?
No. You should have asked for a release.
Well, I did, in the contract.
Does your release say that party number one will not hold you liable if there's any loss?
Well, that's what I asked for in the contract.
Well, did you get it?
Well, I didn't. I thought the title company knew what they were doing.
No, the title company's got nothing to do with it. Your attorney's the one that's got to do something with this. Your attorney should have said to you.
Well, we didn't have an attorney.
In that case, it was up to you to see that you were released of liability.
Well, I went and got an attorney, and he seems to think that this fellow, that I'm not liable for it now.
It might very well be. I don't know. See what's contained in the papers that the three of you signed. I'm just giving you the general principle to guide you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Let me remind you that opinions that are well-rooted are like a healthy tree. They can easily and they are able to withstand the storms of life. Good evening, my friend. Welcome to Talknet.
Good evening, Bernard.
Yes, friend.
My husband has invented a board game. He's developed a working model, and we need some advice on how to go about marketing it, getting it to a big company.
Well, first of all, you should find out whether it's patentable. Is it patentable?
I assume it is.
Well,
we don't even know how to go about that.
If it's patentable, take it and get it patented.
Okay, and get it copyrighted. How should we try to contact?
It costs you $2,000 to $3,000 to get it patented. You hear what I said?
Yeah.
Now, once you've got it patented, you have to go around and market it. You have to go around and sell it to a company that makes games.
And what would we do best? To sell it outright, to try and get royalties?
You will do best whatever offer you get. If they offer to buy it outright, sell it to them if the price is right. If they offer to give you, pay you a license fee or royalty, take it. Because what you want to do is a very difficult thing to do. As a general rule, these companies that market these games don't want to talk to you because they're afraid that you come around with a game, you show it to them, 5 years later they bring out something that may be something similar to yours, and you sue them.
I see.
That's why many of them don't even want to look at it. A hard thing is getting companies to look at your game and evaluate it.
Is there any method that we could go about trying to market it ourselves, raising the money?
Well,
if
you want to try marketing yourself, in other words, put the game together, take it around to stores in your area, your stores in your city, in your state, that sell these kind of games, and see if they'll take it, and see if they'll take it on consignment and pay you for what they sell.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Good evening, friend. You are on Talknet. And our phone number, coast to coast, is toll-free. Here it is, 1-800-223-4141. I'm Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet. You are listening to Bernard Meltzer on Talknet. Good evening, friend.
Good evening, Dr. Meltzer.
Yes, my friend.
How are you doing?
Good.
Great. I'm glad we got the chance to talk to you. I enjoy listening to your show. You have a wealth of knowledge. I am interested in the advantages and drawbacks of buying a FHA home.
In other words, are you buying an FHA home, or are you buying a home and you're applying for an FHA insured mortgage?
Well, this is what it is. I saw a house in the paper. It was an open house, and I went to visit the house, and the broker that was there, the representative of the broker that was there, let me know it was an FHA home. And
No. Does FHA own it, or is it FHA going to be FHA finance? A big difference.
It's owned by FHA.
In other words, the people living there are tenants. They don't own the house.
There's no one living there at the time. It's a vacant home.
All right. If it's FHA owned, the broker told you the price, didn't he?
Right. There was a price.
And he told you what the financing that goes with it, didn't he?
Right.
And he also told you there's a very low down payment. How much is the house selling for?
Amount of earnest money, what they called it. Yes.
How much is the house selling for?
67.
And how much down payment is required?
$2,000.
See, that's the answer. Most people, when they go for FHA, go because the down payment is low.
Mm-hmm.
There's another advantage to FHA, which I like. The instruments, the mortgage that you sign, gives you a lot more rights than the conventional mortgage. And the interest rate usually is low. And the down payment is low, and usually the interest rate is low.
Yes, she told me that the interest rate was 8.5%.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yes. But what I want to know is listed as an as-is home. I have to take it just as it is.
Yep, that's a rough one. That means FHA is not guaranteeing anything.
Right.
You have to use your eyes and your ears and everything else that you have to look the house over to make sure that if anything wrong, you spot it. FHA will not spot it for you.
Okay, but the thing that I'm really interested in is this fact. She told me to make a bid. I can make a bid on the home. Now, when she said a bid, that means that I really have to bid for that full price that they're asking for. But what I want to know from you, is there such thing as a floor price that they would accept?
Well, you don't know that. In other words, FHA appraised the property, what, for $67,500?
$67,000.
$67,000. You have a right, for example, to bid $65,000, $60,000, anything you want. That doesn't mean FHA will accept it.
Okay.
Very often, FHA has what is called an upset price, but you don't know about it.
So they don't let me know what the lowest bid is?
They won't let you know what the upset price is.
Okay.
Okay?
Now, if I may ask you this right quick.
Sure.
When buying an FHA home, do you go through the same legal proceedings that you would go through buying a conventional home?
Oh, yes. Same thing.
Okay, so I need a lawyer to represent me.
Yeah, well, except, yes, you need a lawyer to represent you, except if you don't want to use a lawyer, the chance of being taken are a lot less.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. You know, in all history, there was only one indispensable man. It was not you, it's not me. It all goes back to the beginning, and the name of this indispensable man was Adam. Good evening, my friend. Welcome to Talknet.
Dr. Meltzer?
Yeah,
I
friend.
was relating my case with friends, and it says, what should I ask Dr. Meltzer? He always gives a lot of good answers.
What happened?
But the case that I have is that I had a dog, and a neighbor came over and fed the dog, or tried to give it water. He said the dog growled at him, and he turned and twisted his knee, and now he's suing for $500,000, and his wife won $75,000 for a loss of consortium. And I had gone to church, and he was not given permission. He and I only discussed the problem about feeding dogs. And
I have a question.
Yes.
Number one, has your dog ever attacked anybody?
No.
Come close to attacking somebody?
No. He's very friendly, wagged his tail, and just barked friendly greetings.
Okay.
I only had him largely just to identify the presence of strangers.
Was the dog tied up?
The dog was on a leash.
And therefore he came on your ground and trespassed on your ground?
Yes, he did.
Has he done this before?
Well, I think the point is whether he was trespassing or not, because he insinuates that he regularly came over and fed the dog.
Well, that's what I'm trying to. I was going to get to that. The incident involved he was trespassing on your ground.
I think that's the point we're going to have to try to prove, because...
Wait a while. Stay with Uncle Bernard. Don't run away from me.
Okay, Uncle.
Because you asked me for an answer, and I'm going to give you one.
All right.
He was trespassing on your ground. Number 2, did you give him permission that day to come on your ground?
No.
Number 3, have you given him permission in the past to come on your ground and feed the dog?
No.
Has he been doing it in the past?
He said that he had...
No. Forget what he said. He's got himself a crazy, phony attorney.
If he had, I never knew it.
As far as you go, you never gave him permission, and if he had been doing it, he was doing it without your permission, without your acquiescence.
Yes.
So therefore, what are you worried about?
Because the lawyer says they're going to take it to a jury trial, and they're going to have to decide as to whether all of this is such or not.
Do you have any insurance?
I went to the insurance company that said they could only take care of me for $100,000. I better get a lawyer for the other $400,000.
Well, look, my good friend, listen to Uncle Bernard again. If the case you describe is what the facts are, the chance of them getting anywhere near $100,000 are remote. The chance of them getting $50,000 are remote. This case probably will be settled for way down in low figures. But the reason why the attorney is using $500,000 is for one reason. He's an attorney and he wants to scare the life out of you.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. And attorneys have a right to scare the life out of you. But it's unfair, in my opinion. It's unethical for an attorney to do it when you have what is called a fender-bender case. But attorneys do it. They get away with it. They're advocates. And nobody's ever tried to get the law changed so that they can do it. In some cases they have, yes. But in your state, apparently, it's allowed. So I'm saying to you, number 2, wait a while.
Okay.
I'm wound up. Number 2, the reason why the insurance company said to you, the limits of the policy are $100,000, you're being sued for $500,000, you've got to go get yourself an attorney. You don't have to get an attorney. But they have to tell you this as according to the law. They will defend this case. Do you think they want to pay out $100,000? Not on your life. They have good lawyers. But what they're saying to you, if you want to get a lawyer for everything above $100,000 to sit in at the trial, you're welcome. Now, the person who's suing you, what's their age?
Their age is near 40.
What do they do for a living?
Construction.
And what do they make a year salary? Do you have any idea?
They own a lot of houses, so they must be making considerable.
Uh-huh. How about you filing a countersuit against them?
That's what I was thinking. Can I go to the prosecutor and have him...
Well, no, not the prosecutor. You sue him. In other words, one of the ways to teach a fellow like that a lesson is if he's suing you for $500,000, you turn around and sue him for $1 million. Your suit will be as frivolous as his suit. However, you scare the life out of him because he's scaring you.
The insurance company says it cannot be offensive, only defensive.
The insurance company is defending you based upon a policy. Your suit would be something else entirely different.
And a lawyer wants $1,000 up front.
What, to sit in court?
It's civil court to defend it. He said he needs $1,000.
Yeah, but he's not going to defend you.
No. The offensive lawyer said he needs $1,000 up front.
The lawyer for the insurance company?
No. The lawyer, the extra lawyer that the insurance company...
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. The extra lawyer is not going to defend you. The one that's going to defend you is the insurance company lawyers.
Exactly. And for the offensive purposes, he said, I need to get another lawyer, and the lawyers that I've been talking to want $1,000 up front.
You're not listening to me.
Okay.
I said the reason why they tell you to do that is because they must do it by law.
Yes.
But if you judge that the case isn't worth $100,000, more than $100,000, sit still. You don't need a lawyer.
Yes.
Because your lawyer If you get him, probably he'll sit in court and do nothing because the insurance company does not want to pay out $100,000, and they will defend the suit. And they have good lawyers.
If I
I
can't
repeat
sue
that for the 5th time.
if I can't sue for trespass, I need another lawyer, though.
That's got nothing to do with the case we're talking about. I'm trying to say if you want to go after him, you go get your own lawyer.
Right.
Thanks. I am Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet. The number is 1-800-223-4141. Let me tell you, there is a lot of book knowledge in my answers. There's also a lot of life experience in my answers. There's years of study, years of doing things, years of learning, years of making mistakes, years of observing mistakes made by others. So by now, I think I've reached the point that I can guide you so that you do not make mistakes, at least not too many. Good evening, my friend. Welcome here to Talknet.
Hi. First of all, I want to tell you how much I enjoy your show and how much it's really helped me. To give you a little background, I'm 30 years old. I was an abused physically and mentally abused child all the way for 14 years.
Now, when you say abused child physically and mentally, was it also sexual abuse?
No sexual abuse. The sexual abuse came with men after I turned 14.
Right.
And it was physical and mental abuse from men that I had relationships from that time on till I was about 22 years old when I split up with my first husband.
Did you experience abuse before 14?
Pardon me?
Before the age of 14?
It was physical and mental.
Who, from Daddy?
My mother.
Okay.
My father was never around, but the once a year that he would come in, my mom would lie about things that us kids would do, and he would beat us up for it.
Daddy was what? A sailor? Military service? What?
He was in the Navy, and then he was working on an RCA site, so he was gone all year.
No, please don't mention anything, honey.
Oh, well, this is a long time ago.
But on the other hand, please don't mention that company again, honey, because I'll have to cut you off.
Oh, okay. Okay, so what has happened is my first marriage, I had a little girl. I was abused all the time through that marriage, and I walked out of the marriage. Since then, I've gotten kind of hardened and find it hard for myself to get involved in relationships. I'm separated from my second husband and have been for 2 years.
Were you abused by your second husband?
No, I wasn't. But through our whole relationship, our fights were just terrible. Throwing things and cutting each other down.
Have you ever undergone any therapy?
I went through therapy after my mother had died when I was 14 years old for 4 years. And then
Did it do you any good?
Well, it helped me to understand why my mother had abused me.
Why did your mother abuse you?
Because of things that happened to her in her past, lots of mental and physical abuse.
Are you sure, by the way, you were not the psychologist who was at the school that I called Blame Your Mother for Everything?
Oh, no.
There is such a school, around.
No,
the first thing they do, they start off where they say, look, let's find out what relationship you had with your mother.
Well, see, my mother and I didn't have a relationship.
So your question you're asking me is what?
My husband is thinking about coming down here where I'm at, and we have talked to each other. He's a very old-fashioned gentleman, raised with high Christian morals, of how women should be, and he's thinking about coming down.
That's your second husband?
Yeah. And I'm just trying to decide for myself if it's a good idea for me to jump back into that relationship where there was a lot of fighting and stuff, or if I should just stay alone like I am right now.
Are you happy with your current relationship?
Right now I am, yeah. My father lives with me and my little girl lives with me, but I've only been like that since October. And it gets lonely at times, but I find that I'm safe. I don't have to I don't know how you would explain it. It's just love. I don't have to express any love.
In other words, the gentleman that you are married to right now is, let's say, is a gentleman that has high principles, is not willing to compromise on them, and knows right from wrong and is sure that he's right.
Oh, yeah, and he always tells me about it, and every time I try to do something for myself, just a normal decision in daily life, he always tells me how to do it.
So why is he coming back?
He's coming down to visit to see if we could have another try, because he's also one of those believers that he married me and he's going to stay married to me, and he'll work out anything through there, but he's real thick-headed as far as...
Do you want to make another try?
I'd like to, just because... I don't know how to say this. Marriage is a big word, and it's commitment, and you don't walk away from it just because things are bad. You have to try.
Your husband feels that way. Do you feel that way too?
I do, but you see, I'm so scared of reaching out to loving somebody that I do all these things to sabotage.
On the other hand, why don't you let your hubby wants to try again. Apparently, you want to try again. But you're saying to me you're afraid you want to be miserable, don't you?
Yeah.
You're afraid to go after some happiness, are you? Are you afraid?
Yeah, because I'll sabotage it.
So
I'll do something
in other
to
words,
the other person.
Maybe you can change the pattern of your lifestyle. Maybe you can change the pattern of the people you associate with.
Right now, I associate with some exceptional people.
So
everybody's married.
So why don't you try again? In other words, you're married right now. Your hubby wants to try again. Why don't you try again? Maybe lightning will strike. Maybe all this abuse you talk about is in your head will come out all at once.
Is there any sort of counseling that you would suggest that would help me to cope with things like that?
Well, of course, you go through 4 years of counseling. You found out why your mother abused you. Now maybe you go through 10 years of counseling and find out why your first husband abused you.
Oh, no, I don't want to learn that. No, see, the reason they did that was because I really hated her when she had died, and it was tearing me apart.
I think a lot of it is in your own head, honey.
Yeah. So
a lot of it is you. And I would say right now, I think what you ought to do is try. Maybe lightning will strike. Don't give up. I'm Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet.
Small department store. And I kept getting a refusal, and when I tried checking into why they were refusing me, it was because I had no credit rating at all. Not because I had a bad one, because I had insufficient credit rating. And I was wondering how I could reestablish a credit rating.
In other words, you have no credit rating at all.
Right.
So
it was like I didn't
all you do is as follows. You start in, let's say, with a local merchant. And you say, Joe, if you run a credit report on me, you'll find I have no credit. But here's my situation. I am working. How much are you making?
Well, I average about $1,500 a month.
How much?
About $1,500 a month.
$1,500.
Right.
So therefore, I'm making $18,000 a year, Joe. And I have a bank account at the XYZ Bank. Mm-hmm. And I owe nobody any money at all.
Right.
And what I want from you, Joe, is $200 worth of credit. And you'll get it. And now you get $200 worth of credit, that's reported. Or if you want to, you can also send the credit company a statement of your assets and liabilities. That helps a lot. But you build up credit, and another way of getting credit is borrow from a bank and then repay it in a very short time. Now you've got a credit report, you borrowed from a bank, 6-month loan, repaid it in 1 month. All this you do is step at a time. Your problem is not very great at all. Thanks.
Oh, okay.
Bye-bye. Good evening, my friend. There's an old saying to guide your life which reads, if we could only see ourselves as others see us, to which I must add, if we could only see ourselves as others see us, most of us would never ask for a second look. Good evening, friend. You are on Talknet, and I'm Bernard Meltzer. Welcome.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Meltzer?
Yeah.
I have a question. I was in a car accident about 2 years ago, And the gentleman that hit me had a terrible driving record. Come to find out, he only had the basic limits on liability. He had $12,500 worth of insurance coverage.
Right.
Okay, I had underinsured motorist coverage for myself.
Right.
But I only had like $15,000 for the underinsured, and then I had $5,000 medical payments.
So you're up to 20.
Right. Okay. The problem that I'm having is I had quite a few medical bills. Okay, my hospital bill was over $9,000. And then I had my doctor's bills and therapy bills, which I was told by my physician, due to the accident, I'll have these bills, reoccurring all the time because the problems that I have will be for the rest of my life.
Right. But on the other hand, the fellow who hit you, who probably was guilty of the accident,
right,
doesn't have much coverage. Is that what you're telling me?
That's it. That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Is he working? Does he have any assets?
He's working, but I was told that he didn't have any assets, so to speak.
Who told you that? Your attorney?
Yes, they checked into his employment and everything, and he didn't have any assets.
Well, in that case, there's not much you can do. You just happen to be in an accident with the wrong person. I don't know what advice to give you.
So that means that I'm stuck with the medical bills for the rest of my life.
You are stuck with the medical bills for the rest of your life. You might apply for disability. But I don't know where to tell you to go.
Okay. All right.
Thanks.
Well, I appreciate your help. Thank you.
Good evening, friend. You are on Talknet. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, my friend.
Hello, Bernard. It's
yes.
good to talk to you.
Thank you.
4 years ago, we bought a trailer. Excuse me, we had a trailer, and we bought a house.
Yeah.
Then we had to sell the trailer to my in-laws to buy the house. They, in turn, sold it on a land contract. Now the man that bought the trailer wants to sell it, and he wants to get a title. The title has been lost. And
so therefore you apply for a replacement title.
It was never changed over.
That's all right.
Okay.
Therefore the person but whose name is the title now?
It's under my name.
So therefore, that's a simple matter. There usually are attorneys and special companies that handle these matters of titles for automobiles and mobile homes. Not hard at all. Go see an attorney that handles that kind of work. Very moderate fee. Or better yet, in many cities there are special companies that do it on a 24-hour basis. Look them up.
And those should be in the yellow pages.
Right.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Good evening, my friend. I welcome you to Talknet. Good evening. Hello?
Good evening.
I'm looking for you.
Hello.
Yeah.
In October of 1986, we sold our duplex home. And I notified the utility companies of our moving by phone and kept receiving the bills. Okay?
In your name?
Pardon me?
Kept getting bills in your name?
Yes. And I called again, and I
stop making phone calls, honey, because
why it hasn't been changed.
Yep. What did they tell you?
And they told me that I could not do the changing of names. That has to be the people that purchased the house or are now renting there to change it in their names.
Honey, what you notified them is to take it out of your name.
I did.
And they'll take it out of your name because suppose the people who purchased the house don't want utilities. They don't want any electricity.
Well, it isn't electricity.
What is it, gas?
It's gas.
So what? Honey, you see, what happened is, may I tell you this, when you all notified them to change and you kept getting bills in your name and did nothing about it.
I did. I kept calling them.
Well,
and also on my checks when I sent in the portion that has to be returned to them. I also wrote on there final payment. We have now moved.
Honey, did you ever write them a letter saying, hey, get it out of my name?
No, I didn't.
Why didn't you?
Well, because I called my lawyer, and that's what he advised me to do, but I haven't done it yet.
Yes, but first you report it by phone, which is true. When that doesn't work, You would have to go on record.
Mm-hmm.
You have to write them a letter, send it to them, certified mail, return receipt request, and say, do this.
Right. Well, they've since done that, but they're still keep holding us liable for the month of October, November, and December.
Well, it's because they claim it was still in your name.
Mm-hmm. Do we still have to pay this?
Well, that you can fight. But the utilities were in your name and somebody was using the gas and you were paying for it and you let it keep happening. And you were making what is called phone calls and you were disturbing somebody's coffee break. As a result, they hung up on you.
Well, they didn't hang up. They just told me that they would change it, but they never did.
Well, they were angry, so therefore they did nothing. I'm telling you, honey, your problem is you don't write.
Right.
Right. Thanks. I am Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet. I'm Bernard Meltzer, your weekend host here on Talknet, with you every Saturday and every Sunday. To all, I extend my hand of friendship. Remember, I listen to you with my heart as well as head. It's a program of goodwill for all people of goodwill. It's a program that helps you cope with life. And we range all the way from affairs of the pocketbook to affairs that touch the heart and the human spirit. Our program, real drama, unrehearsed drama by real people. Coast to coast, toll-free number. You're welcome to pick up the phone and call Bernard Meltzer. 1-800-223-4141. 1-800-223-4141. I'm Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet. My radio family, thank you for the nice things you say about the program. My door here at the studio is wide enough at all times to hear and listen to all who are in need and all who need a friend. But my door here at Talknet is not narrow enough to shut out hate, ill will, and discourtesy. My door here at Talknet is open at all times to all people of goodwill, to all God's children. For this I do know, that the good people far outnumber the bad, and I pray that I can do my part to help make this a better world, full of good people doing good deeds. My friend, welcome to Talknet. Hello?
Hello, friend.
Yes, my friend.
I feel like I've known you for years. I have learned so much from you. You're better than going to college, believe me. I have a question.
This is the Bernard Meltzer College of Knowledge.
You're fantastic.
We hand out our own degrees.
You are fantastic.
Thank you.
What I have is a question for you. My husband makes $18,000 a year.
Right.
And we have got a two-family that we have inherited. It's worth about $280,000.
$280,000?
Yes.
That's a nice inheritance.
We're in Massachusetts here.
Right.
Okay, we want to go to the country. There's no yard with this house. We want to go to the country. We took a $40,000 mortgage on it last year. We've had an awful lot of medical. What I would like to know, can we swing a single family?
For how much?
About $249,000.
Well, of course, you see, you have about $240,000 of equity, roughly, in the house, okay?
Right.
Let's say the cost of selling a lot of other things, it brings you down to about $225,000, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I would prefer at $18,000 you buy the house free and clear of mortgages, because $18,000 for a married couple. Any children?
I have two little girls. One was in the hospital for 7 months, and she'll be 5 in May, but she's very tiny and petite. We still have in fact, we've just gotten over pneumonia for the most of the winter. And I want to get the girls out to the country. I know there will be attorney fees.
What I'm trying to tell you is your $18,000 income.
It's not much.
Is not much to carry a mortgage when you have two children.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is don't take any of that income to pay a mortgage. I'm also saying if your house is worth $280,000 with a $40,000 mortgage, figure on buying something closer to about $200,000 or $210,000.
Fine.
You'll be able to buy it free and clear. And that's what you've got to do from the standpoint of lifestyle.
Okay.
Because I don't want to load you down with mortgages.
No, we couldn't. Another thing, what about this capital gains? We just turned 40. I just turned 40.
Oh, no, wait a while. When did you inherit the property?
1979.
You inherited in 1979, therefore you got it without any taxes. Okay, that's number one.
Okay.
Number two, find out from the attorney who handled the estate on what base you got it. And here's what I'm trying to tell you. Let's say if that time it was valued for purposes of $200,000. I hate to tell you that.
Okay.
And you sell it for $300,000, then you've got $100,000 worth of capital gains to worry about. You understand?
Yeah. So we'd have to pay.
Or you have, right now there is no more any capital gains under the new tax law for the year 1987. It comes in as income. And that's rough.
So in other words, we might be biting off more than we can chew.
Yes, and now that you tell me that you inherited way back in 79, and in 79 around the Boston area, properties were still relatively low.
It was put through as $69,000.
In other words, you got it for $69,000?
Right.
Oh, Mom.
No way?
No, Ma, you just killed the deal.
That's what I thought.
You killed the deal.
I wanted your knowledge on it.
In other words, you've got yourself a minimum of $200,000. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
That's what I thought. Well, we are.
Yeah, but wait a while.
Sure.
I'll still give you some hope.
Okay.
You've lived in this property since 79, right?
I've been here since 75.
All right. It's your principal residence, right?
Yes.
You haven't moved away anywhere in the past 3 years, have you?
Moved from the first floor to the second floor.
Okay, I'm in good shape. Therefore, you can defer paying the capital gains or the taxes by buying another house, which you are.
Yes.
So I just pulled you out again.
Great.
Because the house you're going to buy gives you a tax deference. You're back in business.
Really?
Well, don't say it so slow. Make believe you're happy.
I am. I'm not right open here.
You're back in business. Yes, you can defer it. Because you've been... See, in other words, in order to have the tax deferred, you have to occupy the property for 5 years. And you have to occupy it as your principal residence for 3 of those 5 years.
Okay.
Which you've done.
Right.
You're back in business. Well, what you do, please get an accountant to guide you as you mess around, because you may find yourself, if you don't take the right steps, with a heavy tax load. Thanks.
That's because, as I say, he only makes $18,000, and I don't want to lose the house from the girls.
No, you're not going to lose it if you follow through what we just said. Defer the taxes.
Defer the taxes.
You can. Because, again, I repeat, my radio family, when you live in a house for 5 years, and 3 of those 5 years it is your principal residence, you can defer payment of the taxes until at a later date. Thanks, friend.
That's wonderful.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Welcome to the program that brings you problems from real life by real people with real-life solutions. I'm Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet. I'm Bernard Meltzer. Need advice? Need an answer? Then call me at our toll-free number, 1-800-223-4141. You know, we know from experience that it's impossible to keep your eye on the ball and on the clock at the same time. Good evening, friend. You are on Talknet.
Hi, Dr. Meltzer.
Welcome.
I have a situation that I know that you can help me with. You're a genius. Here's what it looks like. We have a home that we purchased in 1974. We bought it for $59,000.
Right.
8.25% interest. The balance now is about $29,000.
1974, you bought it for how much?
$59,000.
And you have a mortgage balance of how much?
$29,000.
What interest?
8.25%.
All right, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay. I inherited a house from my parents. It's worth about $125,000.
When?
Pardon me?
When did you inherit?
In let's see, the middle of 1985.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Now, here's what I really need help on. I don't know whether I should refinance the house that we live in, the one that we bought in 1974. The institution that we borrowed from is advertising that they have no points on refinancing.
What is the house worth?
$200,000.
All right. Now, how much money do you need? What do you need the money for?
I would like to get some of this equity out.
And do what?
And invest it.
In what?
Maybe some mutual fund, maybe a tax-free municipal type investment.
Who's been telling you all this?
Well, no one. I just hear all these talk show.
Well, you've been hearing the wrong talk shows, honey.
Okay,
you've been hearing talk shows where they bring on salesmen and sales ladies who work for brokerage firms who are trying to sell you things. But you don't take your equity out of that house at all unless you're going to reinvest it in something that you get around 20%. But
what kind of investment?
But for you to go out and borrow money, say at 9%, 9.5%, and reinvest it at 8%.
No, that would never do.
What do you want to reinvest it at?
Well, something that would bring more than what the interest on the
or tell me what you are going to put it in.
I really don't know. The first thing I would do is it possible to invest it at a greater return than what the interest would be?
Not with safety.
Okay.
In other words, you will have a negative cash flow. In other words, it will cost you more to get that mortgage than you can put the money away with safety. If you want to invest it in junk bonds, for example, and get 12%, go ahead. If you want to invest it in a coal mine or an oil well and get maybe a lot of money or get nothing, go ahead. If you want to invest in the casinos in Atlantic City or in Las Vegas, go ahead.
I don't think you mean that.
But the advice you get right now to take the equity out and use it is crazy unless you have a need for it. If you said to me, I have to send my kids to college, I have no money to put them through, I'd say yes. If you said to me, on the other hand, somebody's sick and we need and we have no money to pay the hospital, I'd say yes. Or I'm about to go into business where I stand an excellent opportunity to do well, I would say yes.
Okay.
But just to take it out and buy mutual funds, crazy.
Crazy. Okay. Now, I promised my mother.
And I'll tell you what's gone wrong. You see, if you listen to this program, I tell you one thing. In addition to a lot of book knowledge, my answers very often are based upon a lot of life experience. And when you put that two together, what you want to do is crazy.
Okay,
and you also must understand one other thing on talk shows. The people that come on as guests don't get paid. You understand? They're coming on because they have something to sell, information to give out. And the host, as a rule, doesn't know when the information is right or wrong. So if I were working, let's say for the XYZ brokerage house, I would be a guest on the talk show and say, hey, take the equity out of your house and buy mutual funds or buy zero coupon bonds or anything else, because this is what I'm selling, and I may believe it.
I understand. Okay, now here's the sequel to this. Then maybe my parents' home is for me. I mean, I inherited it. It's a lovely home. It's worth about $125,000.
Right.
I don't want to rent it, and I promised my mother that as long as I live, I will not sell it.
Right.
My husband is 70 years old, and I'm 59.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, and it's a lovely home. It's 3 bedrooms. Ours is much larger, and we really don't need this much room. We can take a one-time tax benefit. What is it, $125,000?
If it's your principal home,
yes,
are you living in it?
We've lived here continuously for 13 years.
Okay, then you could take yourself a one-time capital gains exemption of $125,000.
Okay, that might be the smart thing to do. That way we can invest it and get a return.
Maybe.
Maybe. With caution.
I will say one thing. You are well off. You're rich in real estate. And the equity should be there for emergencies or special uses, but not to play around with the way you want to play around with it. You'll find pretty soon that the equity and the house are soon gone when you play around this way.
Don't want to do that.
Because also keep in mind one thing. The stock market goes up, but the stock market also goes down. And if you are caught in a really violent down market, what you're talking to me, you'll lose your property.
That's true.
So don't mess around that way.
I love you. Thank you, Doctor.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate your help. Bye-bye.
Thank you. There's an old saying which reads, you can judge a person by the kinds of friends that they keep. But this is also true to some extent. You can judge a person by taking careful note of who is their enemy. True. Good evening, my friend. Welcome here to Talknet.
Hello?
Yes.
I'm 15 years old, and I'm in 9th grade in high school. And I'm having real problems at school. I can't seem to keep organized.
Why?
Well...
In other words, you're getting bad grades.
Yeah, I'm getting real bad grades.
Are you getting bad grades because, as you say, you can't get yourself organized? You're getting bad grades because you're not paying attention and not bringing in homework and so on. Why are you getting bad grades? You can't keep up?
Huh?
Why are you getting bad grades?
I'm not really sure. I'm trying my best now. I've been absent
You are
all week.
trying your best.
Huh?
Your attendance record is good?
Yes, sir.
And you are trying it. It might very well be. Tell me the subjects that you're good in, if any of them.
Well...
None. They're really none. Okay. Next thing, tell me, what do you like to do?
What do I like to do?
Yeah, in other words, if you didn't have to go to school, what would you like to do?
I'd like to, train to be a helicopter pilot.
You tried to what?
Train to be a helicopter pilot.
Good.
That's my goal in life.
You see, but to be a helicopter pilot, you're going to have to get yourself an education.
Yeah, I know.
See, in order to become a helicopter pilot and get licensed, you have to know a lot about science and mathematics.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, it might be that you have golden hands. Do you like to make things?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I like to make things.
You see, it might very well be that by forcing you through an academic discipline, they are giving you an inferiority complex, my friend. It might very well be that you would make a tremendously skillful mechanic, a good artist, a good technician.
I'm not a really good artist. See, we take shop class in school. They make things in there, and we also have art. I'm not very good at art.
My suggestion would be, if I were talking to your mommy and daddy, to have you take an aptitude examination to see what you're good at and what you're not good at. It might very well be that what you're trying to do is something that the good Lord did not endow you with academic skills. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all have but there's no reason why we have to force a boy of 15 who has no academic skills through an academic program and torture him. So it might be to do what they do, let's say, in Germany. They take a young man like you and apprentice you at age 12, so that by the time you're about 18, you come out as a very skillful mechanic capable of making a good living. And also you've gotten your basic education. So I would say, you tell your daddy and mommy that Bernard Meltzer said, I think that they should put you through, it's an easy test, an aptitude examination. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Our phone number coast to coast is toll free. Here it is, 1-800-223-4141. Let me repeat that again, 1-800-223-4141. I am Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet.
WRC.
You are listening to Bernard Meltzer, the program that solves problems not only with book knowledge, but also with common sense and the wisdom that does come from life experience. Good evening, my friend. Are you there? Welcome. Hello?
Good evening.
Yeah.
My problem is about a common driveway. I have an identical house, and we share a common driveway. Down at the end of the driveway...
No. Let me ask a question.
Yeah.
There are two houses, and down the middle of them runs a common driveway.
Right.
Right in between both of them.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Okay, and down at the bottom of the driveway, it aprons out into a turning around area, and there are two garages, one on each side, and a parking space in the back of each garage, just enough for two cars to fit, and then that would all be cleared out so you can turn around and get back out. We live on a main road.
Right.
Now, my neighbor has torn down his garage and planted that area with grass seed, and he's grassed it over. Now he parks his car in that turnaround area.
And therefore, you cannot get over there.
Well, we can move around, but it's more difficult. Now, he has just informed me today that he's sold his home to a family with a young child. They have a swimming pool with no fence. Now I'm concerned that they're going to really be using that grassed area and, putting the second car in that turnaround area.
Okay.
I'd like to... Go ahead.
Listen to Uncle Bernard. First of all, the common driveway cannot be impaired because your deed gives you an easement to use it. His deed gives him an easement to use that. Now, what it says about the turnaround area, if that's included, then he cannot touch it. If it's not included, then you have no rights to the turnaround area. You understand?
Right.
However, you may have, having told you that you have no legal right, you may have an implied right because how old's your house?
Oh, it was built in the 20s.
So therefore, it's, let's say, 50, 60 years old.
Correct.
Therefore, for 50 or 60 years, you've been using that turnaround area related to the common driveway, and therefore it might be, and I think you have, acquired an adverse easement to use that common area for turnaround. You understand what I just said?
Uh-huh.
Now, the only way to find out whether that's true or not is get to see an attorney who will trace title and also ask you a question about what you've done. Mm-hmm. I suspect that we've just come up with a solution to your problem. I suspect we have. Even though legally it may appear that there is no solution.
Great.
Okay?
Thank you.
Bye-bye. I am Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet. Here's a wonderful suggestion. It's been found that the best way to contribute to the happiness of those around you is to be happy yourself. I tell you, happiness is infectious. Happiness is contagious. Good evening, my friend. You are on Talknet.
How do you do? Dr. Bernard Nelson?
Welcome.
I listen to you a lot, and I got to say that other than my wife, I think I agree with you more than anybody.
Oh, thanks a lot.
We're considering buying a farm.
Right.
This farm has been foreclosed.
Right.
Been for sale for about a year.
Who, the bank foreclosed on it?
If I can mention a name, it's...
No, not the bank. No, is it a bank?
It's, you know something? I'm not sure.
Is it a government agency?
I think at one time it was.
Oh,
but
okay.
We're not sure about this.
Well, now, see, the reason why I asked you that question, let me give you a little elementary lesson. See, in other words, let's say somebody had... Let's say the farmer who owned the farm, let's say bought some equipment, and he couldn't pay for it.
Yes.
And therefore they proceeded against the farm and foreclosed on the farm.
Yes.
That, of course, would be a second or third or fourth mortgage, whatever else is involved, okay?
Right.
And the lien would not have wiped out any liens underneath. But if you told me, for example, it was foreclosed on a tax sale or was foreclosed by a bank, I know it was foreclosed on a first mortgage. And therefore, everything above it has been wiped out. You understand my thinking?
Well, this is my understanding is there has been a bank foreclosure. They have had an auction. They've sold all the implements, all the farm equipment.
Okay.
There are liens still against the place. 2, at least, that I know of.
By who?
Well, one of them's by a fertilizer company, and the other one is by Seal Store Company, ASCS.
Okay.
Has a lien against it.
Okay, now, what, again, you identified. Let's be very careful what we say now because we have laws of libel around.
All
okay?
Right.
Now, this leads me to believe that the foreclosure was not by somebody who had a first lien on a property. You understand? It was by somebody who had maybe a fourth or a fifth lien on the property.
Excuse me. I believe it was. They have the first lien, the people that I'm buying from.
So therefore, if they have the first lien, if it was foreclosed on a first lien, it wiped out everybody who had a lien against the property. That's why I'm a little bit confused.
Oh, I see. Well, let me throw some more stuff in here. The reason why we're considering this is it's a pretty good deal. according to prices in our area
Right.
for property. Dealing in figures, it's roughly $132,000. They want about a quarter down. As a matter of fact, I think it's exactly a quarter, but we'll say $30,000 down.
Yeah.
Up front. That's 1/4 the price, and they're offering 6.9% interest on the money.
Right.
Contract for deed, which balloons in 7 years, which is
that I don't like.
Sounds good to us, but
no, that's not good.
That's not
because
good.
7 years from now, when that mortgage balloons, you may be in the midst of a depression and you can't get any money. You get wiped out. This has been a history of balloon mortgages. They always come due at the wrong time.
I see. Well, the reason they said that they wanted to carry the paper on it is because of liens, pending liens, and as long as they were primary holders of the paper.
No, my good friend, let me stop you now. I don't understand the problem. I think either they are confused or they're confusing you.
All right.
One of the things when you buy a piece of real estate, you want to get a good and marketable title. And if you're not getting a good and marketable title, then you want to know what you're getting because you'll pay a lot less money. I don't understand how these liens are remaining in effect when they're selling you something that says it's subject to liens. Therefore, what you're buying is not a clear piece of real estate. So I suggest to you that you better get yourself an attorney who understands real estate, who will search the record and tell you what's there. I think they are confused, and they are confusing you, my friend. Don't move until you find out what you're buying. Thanks. You know, I've noticed this. Square meals make for round people. Good evening, my friend. Welcome here to Talknet.
Hello, Dr. Meltzer.
How you doing?
I do appreciate you taking my call. Your humane approach to financial problems would help me make a decision. I'm a widow, 60 years old, and I have a total of $220,000 divided between short-term treasury bills, bank CDs, and money market accounts. I live off the interest and expect no other monies coming to me except Social Security.
Right.
I invest for safety rather than profit, but interest...
How old are you, ma'am?
I'm 60.
You're doing well. I'm all for you.
Thank you. Interest rates are so very low, and with the news media reporting last week that FSLIC itself was in trouble, would you advise me to invest part of the money into buying a house?
Okay. No, wait, let's stop. Let's go to FSLIC.
Yes.
The Office of the Controller.
Yes.
Announced that, in their opinion, FSLIC was insolvent.
Yes.
Okay. But that's only from an accounting standpoint, number one. FSLIC, as far as guaranteeing savings and loan, accounts, is good today, will be good tomorrow, will be good a year from now. Because Uncle Sam has made a commitment to FSLIC. They will make good. In fact, there's talk right now of Uncle Sam feeding him in $60 billion. You see, so I'm not scared in any way about FSLIC.
The talk was that if things really get bad and so many banks become insolvent, they may pay off, say, like 10 cents on the dollar.
No, that's not FSLIC. I will tell you, you'll get paid off 100 cents on the dollar if Uncle Sam has to do it, pay you off himself. FSLIC is backed by Uncle Sam. And if this were a private insurance company, I would say, get out of there. But this is not. This is the Uncle Sam who has the ability to create all the money he needs.
Yes.
Uncle Sam has the ability to pay any bill that's necessary. Uncle Sam, backed by the Federal Reserve banks, have the ability to do anything in the way of money. You understand that?
Yes.
So don't you worry about FSLIC.
All right. One more question.
Yeah.
I was considering buying a house because I'm now renting. I've already used my one-time exemption when I sold my old house.
All right. Let me ask a question.
Yes.
What's your rent right now?
$500.
If you bought a house, what price would you pay?
That's what I'd like for you to tell me.
All right. Well, give me a number. You know what's around your area. I don't. What would you have to pay for a decent house in a decent neighborhood?
Lower price range would be 75, and medium price around 100,000. But I really don't think I could spend that much and live off the rest.
I will tell you, even if you bought for $75,000, okay?
Yes.
Plus taxes, plus repairs, plus insurance, plus everything else, your rent would get close to about the imputed rent at that point. I calculate between $1,200 to $1,400. So therefore, the rent that you would be paying as an owner would be at least double. Understand what I just said, ma'am?
So it's.
So what I'm saying to you right now, at $220,000, you have enough money to keep comfortable, but nothing to throw around.
I can't afford a house.
Well, you can afford a house, but it's a lot cheaper to rent. That's what I'm telling you.
Yes.
And this is true usually around the whole country. It's a lot cheaper to rent than to buy. That's why when builders build buildings today, they go condominium or they go co-op, because it's a lot cheaper, a lot more profitable to sell than to rent. Thanks, friend.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. I am Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet. I'm Bernard Meltzer. I invite you to call our toll-free number. Here it is, 1-800-223-4141. My friend, welcome ahead. Welcome aboard. I'm Bernard Meltzer. Thank you very much.
Hiya. I'm calling. It's the first time I've ever listened to your program, and it sounds like you're a very learned person.
My mother thought so. But my wife doesn't think so.
Oh, she doesn't? Well, anyway.
It just goes to show you that the difference between mothers and wives. Are you a mother?
Huh?
Are you a mother?
Yeah, I have 3 lovely sons.
See?
That I've raised myself. And
you raise your son, and also your sons are the most handsome, smartest men around, right?
Oh, they are. They really are.
See?
I think so. But I had refinanced my home, and I sold it and moved quite a distance away.
Right.
And bought another home, took the money, and put it into an auto repair shop.
Yeah.
And put my 3 sons in there.
Right.
And we worked very, very hard. Cost a lot of money because we couldn't find a shop that was already established. And anyway, we have done just about everything in order to get business in the door. And to the point of putting flyers on cars and doing a lot of PR work, you know.
Okay.
And it's
and also doing a good job helps a lot, too.
Yeah, it's cost a great deal of money. But my sons, they're real close, you know, and they work real hard. They're good mechanics, and the people in the town that we live in really like them, you know.
Okay.
But we're just not getting enough business. So I was wondering, in your expertise, if that you could tell me, is there a secret, a key?
The key, by the way, is getting more business and doing a good job.
Yeah.
Have you tried making arrangements with insurance companies?
No, I haven't.
Have you tried making arrangements with automobile dealers?
Well, they all have their own repair shops.
No, not all of them. No, not all of them.
Well, I have.
Many of them do not do body and fender work.
Well, we're
They have repair shops, but they don't do body and fender work, and that's what you're doing.
No, we're doing major auto repair, you know.
But also you're doing body and fender, aren't you?
Well, we can do that, but we're really into engine repair.
Well, in that case, you've got to advertise.
We have.
And
spent a great deal of money.
If I knew how to make businesses successful, I would be a zillionaire. And I would not be broadcasting on Talknet.
Okay. Well, I thank you very much anyway.
Thank you, friend. Bye-bye. You know, one of life's most beautiful compensations is that when you help another person, when you help uplift, I should say, another person, in the process, you're helping yourself a lot more. It does you a lot more benefit. That's the way life runs. Good evening, friend. You are on Talknet.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Dr. Meltzer. I'm so glad to be able to speak to you. I have quite a messy problem here.
A messy problem?
Yes.
Let's try to make it non-messy.
My daughter has a legal separation, which was up in January.
Right.
And we have, he has been charged for aggravated harassment for telephone calls. Now, that was postponed in December, and it's going to be up in April again.
In other words, that's coming up for a hearing?
Yes.
All right. Who's he harassing, your daughter?
He's harassing the whole house by making all these phone calls. He'll just hang up all the time or make all kinds of noises.
And you know it's him?
We know it's him. He's been caught.
Okay.
Now,
the question is what?
The question is, should she apply for a divorce before or after the court trial?
No, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean... That's an altogether problem related by itself, often its own corner. Your daughter applies for a divorce whenever she feels she wants to... You must understand, many people get a legal separation with no thought of going through for divorce. Yeah. Many lady that I know of gets a legal separation as a way, let's say, to kind of find out where she stands, but doesn't want a divorce. You understand that?
Yes.
Does your daughter want a divorce?
Yes, she does.
Therefore, let us start a divorce action.
Okay. And it won't make any difference?
It won't make any difference at all, whether it's granted or not.
The only thing we're wondering if he'll take off, and then what?
Well, of course, he's been served, hasn't he?
Yes.
Therefore, if you think he's going to take off, therefore have him served, and therefore if he doesn't come in to defend it, you'll get an uncontested divorce. Based upon what you now tell me, I will say right now, your daughter should file for divorce immediately, because it might be he may take off and not face the hearing.
Now, if he doesn't go into court in April, what would they do?
They'll issue a subpoena to bring him in.
Uh-huh.
On the other hand, if you serve him with a summons for the divorce and he doesn't defend it, then your daughter automatically gets a divorce.
Yes.
Okay? Big difference.
Good.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. I am Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet. Good evening, my friend.
Good evening, Dr. Meltzer. I've been listening to you for a long time, and this is the first time I've had a chance to talk to you.
Welcome.
I thought maybe you hear so many people with problems, I thought maybe you'd enjoy hearing somebody that doesn't have a problem.
All right. Tell me.
Well, we're getting ready. The 18th of this month, we'll have our 66th wedding anniversary.
66?
66. And
congratulations.
Well, thank you. I just thought that it was a happy time for us, and I thought maybe that instead of having so many problems, maybe you'd enjoy hearing some good news.
All right. A question. To what do you attribute the long, happy marriage?
Letting the Lord help us.
Or what else?
And just loving one another.
That's very important.
We're more in love now than we were when we were married.
And isn't the good marriage a series of compromises where you solve problems for the benefit of the other party?
That's exactly right. We have the third party, and he's the Lord Jesus, and we depend on him.
Well, a strong religious faith helps in anything.
Yes, it sure does, and I appreciate you, and I'm sure that you're a Christian because I can tell by the way your things that you say.
Well, I tell you, my philosophy in life is that all roads that lead to God
are good
roads to travel.
That's exactly right.
No matter what be your faith.
What?
I say that all roads that lead to God are good roads to travel, no matter what be your faith.
That's exactly right. But we depend on the Lord. And another thing I want to tell you while I'm talking to you, I just heard you talking about the mineral ice, and I thank you for advertising that because I've had an arthritis problem, and it has really helped me, and I just love it.
I use it myself. I find it gives me great relief.
It sure is. It's just really good.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
Thanks for your messages.
Bye-bye.
And I love to hear you. Bye.
Thank you. This is an old Russian proverb. It says, make sure you go often to the house of your friend, for remember weeds will quickly choke up the unused path. Good evening, friend. Are you there? Welcome.
Good evening.
Yes, friend.
I had a question about renting a car as opposed to buying one.
All right.
Okay, I'm in college right now, and I'm looking forward to a car as a summer job. See, I have a job here where I live, and I also may have a job approximately 70 miles away on the weekends.
Right.
And the problem is I won't really need a car for school, but more so for the job in the summer that is 70 miles away.
Right.
And my concern was, should I buy a car and use it for the summer and then put it away, or should I rent a car?
You will find that in your case, you can't rent a car for a month or two without paying a very excessive amount of money, okay?
Okay.
Therefore, you have to rent a car for at least 2, 3, 4 years. In your case, you'll find, since it is not a tax-deductible item, it is much more profitable for you to buy than to rent.
Okay.
Because by renting, leasing, the kind of lease you get as an individual very often knocks your head off.
Okay. So it would be better even if I was to put the car away, say, for, 6-8 months at a time.
Well, I kind of backing off on that one. I didn't realize you're talking about 6-8 months.
Well, it would just be mostly for the summer between May and September.
In that case, why don't you try renting a car for some individual who doesn't need the car for the summer?
Okay.
Who's gone off somewhere. Let's say gone off to Europe for the summer. Maybe you make a deal like that. Very often in apartments, you do just that. You rent an apartment for 2-3 months and get a good deal.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye. Good evening, my friend. Welcome to Talknet. Hello.
Hello, Dr. Bernard.
Yes, my friend.
I have a question I would like for you to straighten out for me.
What's that?
I worked this for a year. Well, about 3 years. And last year I made about $4,500. And this year I made $4,360. Well, the man I worked for refused to give you a W-2 form. What do you do about that?
Well, I get very suspicious. Because, Mama, let me tell you what I think he's doing. He's reporting you as an independent contractor. And
you
therefore
think
you have
so?
to...
Well, this is what I do. I work in his home.
No,
and,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, honey. He's either reporting you as an independent contractor or he's just not reporting you at all.
Yes, he's reporting it, but he won't tell me what he's reporting, and he won't give... Now, last year he reported... He paid
okay,
Social
Mama,
Security.
look at this. Let me tell you what you better do. You tell him that unless he gives you the information, gives you a W-2 form, you are going down to IRS and filing a complaint. And IRS will get after him and murder him, Mom. So when you tell him that you either get a W-2 form or you're going to IRS, he'll give you a W-2 form. At least tell you what's going on. I'm Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet.
And now it's time to return to more of your telephone calls and discussion with your host, Bernard Meltzer, on 980 AM WRC.
Someone to talk to, something to share, someone you know who will always be there. Tune in, turn on, Talknet. We care.
Hey, good evening, my friend, and thank you for joining me here on this Sunday night. You know, I'm on every Saturday night and every Sunday night, so please look for me. And thank you for being part of my radio family. This show is one of goodwill, as you know, for all people of goodwill. It's about real people with real problems. We range all the way from affairs of the pocketbook to affairs that touch the heart and also touch the human spirit. You are welcome to call. You'll never be intimidated. You'll never be insulted. Our phone number coast to coast is toll-free. Here it is. 1-800-223-4141. That's 1-800-223-4141. Sit back, relax, enjoy the drama. I'm Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet. A true friend, a thought to start this hour. In all the world, there are few blessings that are more precious than a true friend, a friend who stands by you through thick and thin, whose loyalty always stands the test of time, who knows all about you, but keeps on loving you just the same, who does far more than any creed could do to make you good, to make you true. That's why it can truly be said that of all the gifts the good Lord can send your way, none is half so precious as a true friend. So if you have such a friend in your life, tell them so. Don't wait to carve it on a stone, because even if you have just one true friend, you are blessed, because one true friend is more than the good Lord provides for most of us. Good evening, my friend. Welcome here to Talknet.
Good evening, Dr. Meltzer.
Yes, friend.
My name is Mike. I'm from New York.
From New York? From New York City?
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
What do you think of New York City?
Oh, it's good now. No snow now.
Go ahead.
Okay, I got a question. I just got married 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And me and my wife are thinking about buying a co-op.
A co-op. My good radio family, let me explain.
Okay.
Most of you out there know about condominiums.
Right.
But in New York, when you buy an apartment, you don't buy a condominium as a rule, you buy a co-op. A co-op is something where the corporation owns a building, and you get a lease, a proprietary, usually about 99 years, to occupy that apartment.
Right.
I'm ready.
You ready for the question?
Yeah.
Okay. It's $78,000, right?
Yeah.
Now, the real estate people, we want to give her a binder, right? But she says we don't operate in binders. She wants us to give her 10% down, right? And go write the contract to have a pre-purchase agreement.
Well, my good friend, if I was a real estate salesperson, I would like that too.
Right.
When she says we don't operate, that's baloney.
Right.
You're buying. You set the conditions.
Right.
Of course, what she's saying is, give me 10% right now, sign a contract, and you're bound.
All right. But she said that 10% is a pre-purchase agreement, right? And that it's refundable, and then after we give it a 10%...
No, don't do that, my good friend.
Right.
It's not refundable.
Right.
It's refundable under certain conditions.
Right.
But, see, you must understand, very often when you deal with a salesperson, in their enthusiasm, they don't tell the truth.
Right.
That lady's not telling you the truth.
Right. She doesn't even... So me and my wife now, we said, okay, let us... talk to your lawyer and our lawyer, talk to each other and go over the prospectus. But she says you can't get the prospectus on no paperwork unless you give me the 10% down.
That's baloney.
That's fishy, isn't it?
In other words, what she's trying to do is trying to bind you in before you know what you're buying.
Right.
The answer is, it's very common. See, my radio family, when it comes to a co-op, unlike a condominium, you're buying a building, you're buying shares of stock only, that's what you're buying, of a building that has gone co-op based upon a prospectus, and you have to know what's in that prospectus, that's to know what you're buying.
Right, exactly. That's what me and my wife, we thought that was fishy,
So I tell you what you do.
Well, tell me what I should do.
The chances are that lady doesn't have an exclusive. See, in New York, in the co-op market, exclusives are rather rare. So you say to her, my good friend, I want to buy the apartment, I need information. If you're not going to give it to me, I'm going direct to the owner.
That's what we did. We asked for the owner's number, and she said the owner doesn't want to be bothered with people.
Well, don't listen to her.
Right.
She's a sales lady.
Right.
And of course, she's doing something, by the way, which I consider extremely high pressure, and don't bow to it.
Right. No, I wasn't about to. So when we did, we asked for her lawyer. So she didn't give us the lawyer. She gave us the number of her boss at the real estate office. And she says, well, I told her I'll let my lawyer talk to your boss at the real estate office to come about something.
My good friend, listen to me. I smell trouble here.
Right.
I don't like the pressure she's putting on you.
Right.
And if your lawyer knows real estate, your lawyer will tell her to go to HELL.
Okay.
That's what I would do if I were representing you.
Right.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Good evening, my friend. Welcome to Talknet. Are you there?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, Bernard. I'm 30 years old, and I'm interested in opening up my own daycare nursery center.
Oh, you are?
Yes, I am. And only thing about, I know what I want as far as the setup of my nursery, but I just don't know how about going about to open up my business.
Where, in your home?
No.
Where's it going to be?
Probably be on like a main street, in a storefront.
You see, a nursery center it must be a license.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
How about, are you licensed?
Not presently, but I don't think that'll be a problem.
Well, it'll be a big problem because you can't get the nursery center license unless it's run by licensed people.
Oh, yes, I know people that, that are qualified.
And then to a nursery center, it has to get a license not only from the state, but also usually from the city regarding safety and fire, a lot of other things.
Right, I was told that I can go to the library and they would give me all the information and requirements that I would need.
The library? No. I recommend that you go to the building inspector.
Building inspector?
They'll tell you what's required for a nursery.
Okay, building.
It might be that you have to put in special stairwells, and special fire escapes, a lot of other things like that. But get the information first.
Okay, as far as like the building itself first.
In other words, before you get the building, find out what the building has to have by going up to see the building inspector.
Yes.
And he'll tell you a nursery center has to have as follows. Nursery school, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's what you look for.
Okay, what about financial backing? I mean, how do you... Okay, like this.
I'll tell you where the money comes from.
Okay.
Out of your bank account.
Okay.
Do you have enough to back it?
It depends on how much I'm talking about getting. It depends on the building itself.
Well, how about also getting the people that are coming in with you to put up some money, too?
Okay.
But you can't rely on many bank loans. And if you want any bank money, they are going to give you a loan based upon your house.
Okay.
Lots of luck.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. Good evening, my friend. Welcome to Talknet. Hello? Are you there?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, my friend.
This is just like reaching God. I've listened to you for so long until I finally made it.
Oh.
I'll tell you, it's a blessing to talk to you.
I have a gentleman sitting here in the studio. Did you hear that, Mike? Thank you. Welcome.
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah.
I own a condominium, and I had a party that was interested in buying it from me.
Right.
And their mortgage fell through. They couldn't have paid a mortgage.
Right.
So then they decided they wanted to take it on a lease. Now, I wrote up a contract which I never received back. Now, they've lived there for 3 months with a promise to pay every week I stopped in.
They haven't paid.
They haven't paid, so I've gotten my attorney on the case, and they were evicted last week, and they moved out, and I went up for the money, and they said they didn't have it. Now my attorney tells me to find out where they moved. Well, I have found out where they just moved around the corner from where they moved out.
Right.
Now, I've got an attorney, and I don't understand why I have to chase around. You know, this is his job, would you say?
Well, yeah, but he wants you to do the work.
Well, they owe me $2,300.
So why don't you take him into court?
Well, I believe this is what's going to happen.
That's the only way to collect.
Now, do I have to have a written lease?
Well, no.
I've got my...
No, an oral lease is good enough. In other words, an oral lease is good, but you have to prove what's in the oral lease. In other words, you had an agreement for them to pay a certain amount of rent per month, right?
Right.
That's what you'll have. That's what you sue them for.
Okay. Now, they paid the first month with a check. Now, I have the check.
And the check bounced.
No.
Is it a good check?
No.
I'm surprised. Go ahead.
But they haven't paid a nickel since.
Yep.
Now, they have an attorney, but my attorney has been unable to reach their attorney. There's no communication.
Therefore, you don't need their attorney.
I see.
All you do is your attorney swears out a summons, takes them into court, and it goes to a hearing.
No.
That's all.
Yeah, well, there are 3 people. There's a father and mother and a daughter, and all 3 are working.
And therefore, you file a complaint. The summons names all 3. Get yourself an attorney who understands real estate and wants to do a job. My friend, you've got an attorney who's lazy.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Get an attorney that wants to work.
He's telling me to chase them around to find out where they moved.
No. My good friend, please, get yourself an attorney that wants to work. You've got the attorney that doesn't want to do any work, and he's going to get you in trouble. I'm Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet.
And now let's get back to the conversation with your host, Bernard Meltzer, on your Station of the Stars, 980 on your AM dial, WRC.
Yes, our toll-free number, coast to coast, is 1-800-223-4141. You are welcome to call. One of the advantages that I have over other talk shows is that in addition to profound book knowledge, often my answer is based upon extensive life experience. And I tell you right now, there's nothing that equals the knowledge that comes from life experience. And nothing can match the wisdom that does come from life experience. Good evening, friend. You are on Talknet.
Hello.
Yes, friend.
Well, recently I visited a resort area, and I was a prize winner, and I got a bond certificate.
To do what?
For $1,000.
Yeah.
And it's a certificate of beneficial owner interest in a trust, which in the fine print it says it matures in 20 to 40 years. And it is similar to a zero coupon bond.
How did you get it?
They just gave it to me as they told me I was a prize winner. And
they just gave it to you?
Yeah, this was a come on to come visit their resort area.
And they handed it out by the thousands.
Right.
Go ahead.
Now, this is
maybe by the millions. Go ahead.
It's a trust duly formed under the laws of the state of Florida.
Yeah.
And it's a bearer thing. And in the fine print, it says the only thing that I'm bound by is I cannot sell it. I can give it away.
How many years?
It says it matures in 20 to 40 years.
All right.
And I'm just curious as whether this is worth anything or not.
Well,
I had to send in and register.
$1, I'll use my rough mathematics of finance right now. $1 in 40 years, for you, let's say at a 10% rate, is worth about a couple of pennies today. Maybe not even a penny. You understand what I just said?
Yes.
That bond for $1,000 today, I doubt if it's worth $1. I doubt if it's worth 50 cents.
Okay, well, the only restriction is I can't sell it. I have to give it away, which I'll probably give it to my grandchildren.
All right. In the year, let's say 2020, or sometime around that.
Well, they say it could mature in 20 years. I have not received the prospectus from
yes,
them
but
yet.
The beneficial trust may be a paper corporation.
Right.
You understand what I just said?
Yes.
It's a phony gimmick. It's a come on.
Right.
The piece of paper you have in your hand there, I say, is worth almost nothing.
Okay. That answers my question.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.
A famous comedian used to say this. He said this was a very famous punchline. He would say, "My wife is very unpredictable." And then he would add, "I never know what method she uses to get her own way." Good evening, friend. Welcome to Talknet. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, my friend.
Yes, good evening, doctor. How are you today?
All right.
I'm excited about talking to you. I want your opinion, please. I got tongue-tied.
Oh, I don't bite. I don't holler.
Okay. I'm so excited about talking to you.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Virginia.
How old are you?
I am 49 years old.
Were you in show business one time?
No.
Are you sure?
Of course.
The way you talk, I would think you were in showbiz, because you are so relaxed.
Well, thank you.
Are you relaxed now?
Yes, I am.
You know why? I can tell.
Why?
In the studio here, we have a great big meter on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called a relaxometer.
Mm-hmm.
And when a person calls in like you, when you called in, the meter was over at 90. Now it's down to 10.
Is that right?
You ever want to see our meter?
I'd like to see that.
Also, okay. Sometime when you're in New York, we'll show you the meter.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Now, what can I do for you?
Okay, now for my question. I'd like to know what your feelings are about playing the international lotteries by mail.
What international lottery are you talking about?
Well, like Canada and Australia.
I would say you'll do much better. The odds are better if you go ahead and play the lottery in your state.
Oh, I see.
The odds are a lot better.
They are a lot better.
That's right. And also, the one that you're playing is probably illegal.
They are illegal?
Yep, I think they're illegal. In other words, the reason why the lottery in your state is legal is the state legislature said it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I suspect the ones that you're playing that used to come out of Ireland, come out of the other countries are illegal.
Well, you know, they do tell you that they are illegal because it is illegal to send this, you know, material by mail and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But you can play on your credit card, and therefore no...
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't you hand your credit card number over on a phone like that.
Oh.
I can tell you tragedies when people do what you want to do.
Oh.
Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it.
Oh, I see.
If your credit card number gets in the wrong hands,
yes,
are you in trouble?
Oh, I see.
So therefore, the Bernard Meltzer law is never give your credit card number to somebody you don't know.
I see. Okay.
Stop it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Our phone number, coast to coast, is toll-free, and I wish you would consider it. Pick up the phone and call and say hello to Bernard Meltzer. 1-800-223-4141. That's 1-800-223-4141. I'm Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet. Welcome to the program that brings you the wisdom that does come from life experience and also from book knowledge, a combination. Good evening, my friend, but first let me tell you our phone number coast to coast is 1-800-223-4141. Good evening, friend.
Yes, good evening, Dr. Meltzer.
Hiya.
Hi, how are you doing?
Okay.
Good. It's kind of an exasperating situation I'm in. But first off, I wanted to tell you I've been listening to you for a couple of years. I really do enjoy your show.
Thank you.
You bet. I'm kind of all nervous about the situation that I'm in right now. I've got a problem with the IRS.
Why?
Okay. Well, I've been trying to deal with them over the last few months.
Well, what's your problem?
Well, we owe roughly about $3,000 over the last 3 years in back taxes.
Okay.
And on the 2nd of March, we just got a notification from them up to the notice to levy. Okay.
In other words, intention to levy, right?
Intention to levy.
In other words, they're giving you a warning. That doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow.
Well, it said within 10 days.
I know it, but they usually don't act within 10 days. They usually are, in fact, saying, hey, get ready to settle this somehow. Why don't you go in and arrange to have it paid off over a period of years?
I'm not that rich.
No, I don't mean $3,000. I mean pay them so much a month.
Yeah, I've talked to them about that, but they don't seem to. I usually end up with a clerk, and they keep on going to the back, talking to somebody who knows something.
Are you talking now about going in there in person? Yes,
in person.
All right, go back in there again now that you have the notice of the levy and tell them that you cannot. Do you have a bank account they can move against?
Yes, I do.
$3,000?
Nope.
How much is in it?
About $100 in savings and about.
Do you have any other assets?
In checking.
Do you have any other assets?
2 automobiles. And then furniture.
I doubt if they're going to take your furniture or automobile. In other words, what you do is they love to take bank accounts.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what you ought to go down there, tell them, show them the letter of levy, and ask, now that it's come down to a crisis, tell them you want to make arrangements to pay off, $100 a month or something like that. They'll accept it.
They will?
Based upon what I know, yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. I've been all nervous and didn't know really who to talk to.
You're not going to jail, don't worry.
Okay.
In other words, let me tell you why.
Okay.
If IRS knows that you have bank accounts, they'll proceed and get the $3,000 out of it. But if you tell them you don't have a bank account and all you've got in there is one little bank account of $100, all of a sudden they talk settlement. You understand what I just said?
Yes, I do.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Good evening, my friend. Welcome to Talknet. Hello?
Good evening, Dr. Meltzer.
Yes, my friend.
Yes, sir. I have a question concerning the some of the revisions in the income tax law.
Yeah.
Okay, when a couple files jointly, I understand how that is done.
Right.
Okay, I was reading some data today and looking toward see how my taxes might be for 87.
Yeah.
And one of the suggestions was to see what would happen if we filed separately.
But you're married.
Married, filing separately. The question I had...
As a rule, it costs you more money.
That's right, except let me tell you one thing. They mentioned that if you take it separately, if one of the spouses has a lesser income, you may be able to meet some of the regulations and still be able to take IRAs, where prior to that, or with the new regulations, you couldn't.
Yep, go ahead.
Now, the question I have, both people must itemize according to the rules in the 1986 book. Question I have, when you itemize, and it's in two names, such as the husband and the wife, such as taxes or maybe who takes that deduction in what name, the husband or the wife?
The husband or the wife takes the deduction, the other one does not take it. That's all I can tell you. And if there is a deduction, by agreement, the husband agrees what he takes and what she agrees what he will take.
One or the other would, so I know, so it wouldn't be split. It would go 100% one or the other.
As a rule, that's the way it goes. It's much easier. If you start splitting it, you get all kind of complicated mathematics.
I can see that, but I just wondered if there was a guideline. Basically, you're saying...
But also, let me tell you one thing. I think you're going in the wrong direction. The only time really that husband and wife file separately is if hubby says, a wife says, I don't want to sign the return because I don't know what you've done. You haven't told me everything.
Well, let me tell you where I got this from. The Wall Street Journal put out a planning for 87 tax, 40-page tax planning for 87 and 88.
Yeah.
And in there, it says, sheltering income at home is still possible, just file separately. And it suggests that you try that. And I did, and when I use my 86 figures and naturally taking into account what's going to change for 87.
What income do you report? What's your income?
Income is approximately... okay, hold on just a second.
Very roughly.
Okay, I have it right here. If we file jointly, the income projected for 87 was approximately $55,700.
All I can tell you, at an income like that, you're talking about pennies. In other words, what you've done, there's nothing wrong with the article you're quoting.
Okay.
Except you must remember the authors that write that article are under pressure to write something. And very often they put you through a lot of complicated situations. And also one other thing, and this is not the textbook answer. I think what you're doing is going to invite an audit.
I can agree to a point. I can't. It comes out favorably, as it states here. It says some taxpayers may blanch, but it is suggested by financial planners that you either calculate or have your accountants calculate it to see if filing singularly or jointly wouldn't make a big difference. And when I did it singularly, it came out to the plus side.
Well, in that case, do it.
And I'll tell you shortly.
No. You see, I don't know enough about your return to be able to criticize it. Well, you have it in front of you. I'm telling you just as follows. In most cases, what you propose means it costs you more money. There are exceptions to that rule. I'm aware of it. I'm aware of the little pamphlet you're talking about. However, I would say I'm not in a position to tell you yes or no. If you are convinced you want to file your taxes that way, go ahead. Thank you. I am Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet. People ask me, Bernard Meltzer, what shall we call you? Here's the answer to that question. I would be honored if you would call me friend. I like the thought. I like that word much better than any other one. But if you want to be more formal, you can call me Mr. Bernard Meltzer, Captain Bernard Meltzer, that's a military title, and Dr. Bernard Meltzer. All these have been earned by hard work, discipline, study, and service. And thank you, my radio family, for the nice things you say about this program. Good evening, my friend. You are on Talknet.
Hello?
Welcome.
Yes. I have a question. I had filed a complaint with the Division of Labor for back wages.
Yeah.
And my employer fired me over it.
And the question is what? Can he do it?
Well, according to the state law, he can't, but I have no proof.
According to state law, he cannot?
Yeah, he cannot fire a person for filing a...
That varies from state to state, but of course...
In this state, it's illegal.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you what happened here. Can I tell you?
What?
Your employer alleges he did not fire you over the complaint. He alleges he fired you because you weren't doing a good job or your job was terminated.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he gets away with it.
Yeah, there was no witnesses.
Well, it's not a question of witnesses. The question is, if you filed a complaint, that's what he would allege. So why don't you file another complaint that you were fired?
I did.
And what they do?
I haven't gotten the letter yet.
In other words, get ready for a hearing. But I'm telling you what your employer is going to say. He's going to say, we didn't fire him because he made a complaint. We fired him because his work was no good, or we fired him because he couldn't do his job, or we fired him because the job has been abolished.
Well, I have two questions.
Yeah.
The first one, he'd have to prove it, right?
They may, in other words, if he claims the job has been abolished, they may ask to proof, yes, and if he claims that the work was no good, also they'll ask for proof. Yeah.
The second case is if they failed to prove it, whether I'd have a defamation suit against them.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
In other words, if they fail to prove it, you'll get your job back. That's what will happen.
Well, I filed for unemployment.
Yeah.
The employer never bothered showing up, calling, or sending a letter.
By the way, what was your complaint? What were you complaining about?
Back wages.
In other words, he owed you back wages which he did not pay.
Yes.
Did you collect?
I was awarded the back pay.
You were collected them.
Yes.
Of course, apparently from now on, you and your employer, even if you got the job back, are on different roads, antagonistic roads.
Uh-huh.
So what kind of work do you do?
I'd rather not say, because he listens to this program.
Well, the reason why I say that is very often I've learned from practical experience, when you get where you are, even if you win, you lose. Because I was about to say, if the type of work you do was where you can get another job easily, I would say forget about it, go get another job.
That's what I plan on doing.
Yeah.
Because the job really isn't worth it.
But you see, when it comes to a hearing as to whether you did a good job or not, remember the dice are going to be loaded against you, because he's going to produce people that are working there now who are going to testify what a lousy job you did.
Uh-huh.
You must understand that.
Yeah. I realize that.
My good friend, lots of luck.
Well, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
The ability to remember is a great talent, but often the ability to forget is a much more valuable talent. There's an ancient Chinese proverb that says, better by far that we smile as we forget than be sad as we remember. The Chinese were very smart. I am Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet.
You're listening to Talknet in the nation's capital on 980 WRC. If you'd like to participate, the toll-free number is 800-223-4141.
My friend, welcome to the program that does solve problems with a touch of human kindness. Yes, our toll-free number is 1-800-223-4141. Good evening, friend. Welcome to Talknet.
Good evening, friend.
Yes, sir.
I am debating on whether I should go into a business of my own. I live in a larger town, and I want to move back to a smaller town where I was raised.
Right.
And I don't know, though, my biggest debate on this, whether I have the personality for it. It's a restaurant pizza business and franchising. And the personality for it and what's best for my family and for me. I hate living in the big city.
Are you going to buy a franchise?
That's what I would like to do, yes. I have looked into it. I haven't looked into money backing yet, but I have looked
How much
into
money do they want from you for a franchise?
$20,000 for a 20-year franchise.
20-year franchise. What do you get for it?
You get all their advertising. You get, you have to go along with if their lunch specials and stuff like that. But when they advertise,
you pay for that. They charge you a certain amount a certain percentage of your gross for advertising. You're paying for it. What do you get for your $20,000? Do you get an oven?
You get the name.
You get the what?
The name of the business, which is a well-known pizza business in this area. The advertising, I would assume that you get that through, from this also. That part of what you...
No, not for the $20,000. In other words, I think, my friend, you're a little confused as to what you're buying. Number one, they charge you a certain percentage for advertising. Also, you're required to buy supplies from them. You're required to buy a lot of things from them at their price. Also, you're required to go ahead and run the business the way they want you to run it. And you're only getting a 20-year franchise.
Okay,
at the end of 20 years, if you've built the business up, you've lost it.
So what you're saying is I shouldn't franchise if I want to open one?
No, I'm saying is very often the franchises are a waste of money. If you want to open a pizza place, go ahead and open one up. Usually it's a lot cheaper.
Okay.
But do you know how to run a pizza place?
Well, I've got a year and a half working. I've worked in one for a year and a half myself. I am working in the management.
Therefore, you do know the problems of running a pizza place. You know the cost factors involved and a lot of other things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do.
I would say what you do is do it the smart ways. Sit down with them, find out what they're giving you, what it means, and also figure out what it means operating without them. Remember, they don't give you a location. You have to get your own location.
Right. That's why I want to go to this certain area.
For example, I'll give you a case I know without identifying the franchise. They charge 8% of gross for advertising. The man running it doesn't make 8% of gross as profit.
Okay.
As you know yourself, 8 or 10% of the gross for profit, I mean net. I don't mean just net. I mean net is a big figure.
That would be a lot.
So I'm saying to you, from what I know about business, yes, I think you have the personality from the way you talk, but then I don't know you well.
Right.
If that's the conversation, I think you'll make it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I appreciate it very much, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good evening, my friend. Welcome to Talknet.
Hello, Dr. Meltzer.
Hiya.
I was calling to get some information from you.
Sure.
My husband and I have $23,000 that we have invested in two different types of mutual funds, and we contribute to them every month. And I wanted to get some information on you on investments in single premium whole life insurance policies, on how they work.
Yep.
Do
you have a lot of money?
Pardon me?
Do you have a lot of money?
Well, we were interested in maybe taking some of the money from the mutual funds. We do contribute $800 a month to the mutual fund now. We were wondering
How old are you?
I am 27 and my husband will be 30.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm just a housewife at the present time.
No, you're not a housewife. You are a homemaker.
Homemaker.
Very important job.
Okay.
Children?
Yes, we have one boy that is 2, and we're expecting our second child in April.
What's the family income?
Approximately $30,000 a year.
I would say you would have much better investments available to you at your age than going in with single premium life when you only have $23,000 to your name. I would say no.
No.
Okay? Thanks.
Thank you.
I am Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet. My friend, welcome to Talknet. Good evening. Welcome. Hello?
Hello?
Are you there?
Yes. Dr. Meltzer.
I'm listening.
I know you're always telling us to beware of things that sound too good to be true.
And
Well,
usually when things that sound too good are not true.
Well, I recently went to a seminar on multi-level marketing, and I guess
go ahead, talk to me.
also network marketing.
Talk to me.
And it sounds like the best thing since the wheel, but if I'm reading between the lines, it also sounds like a lot more work than what they're saying.
Not only that, but most people don't make even a decent amount of money out of it. Because what you're talking about is not marketing. You're talking about the way you make your money is selling the idea to friends and others who come in, and therefore you get an override on them, and they so forth and so on. The answer is, as a general rule, multi-level marketing doesn't bring in very much money for the people involved.
Oh, I see.
And remember, the pressure you were put under and the information you were fed is very carefully worked out. It sounds like tremendous. Do you ever go to buy something like known as time sharing?
No, but I've heard of it.
All right. The information that you will get sitting in the room with 3 or 4 people working on you is fantastic. It sounds like the best thing that ever came down the pike.
Yes.
But it's not.
That's true.
Now, as far as multi-level marketing, I know many people involved in it at your level. I don't know anybody who's ever made any money on it.
Oh, okay. Well, I
But
wondered.
of course, they tell you stories of people driving around in Rolls Royces.
Oh,
So
yes,
on.
they sure do. And
I know it.
And make money while you sleep. That's a good one.
Yep. It's too good to be true, therefore it is not true.
Okay.
Thanks, friend.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good evening, my friend. Welcome to Talknet.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you on?
Oh, of course.
Okay. Well, I'll give you back a question. We live in a small town, and we have only one drugstore.
Right.
And when I put my husband in the nursing home, I was asked to sign an agreement that I would purchase all our drugs at this local drugstore. And I had been in
You
the
mean
habit
that?
of...
You mean that, honey?
Yes, I do.
That's probably illegal.
That's what I said right away. I said that's illegal. She said, well, this is just the way we do things.
In that case, all you have to do is complain to the Attorney General of your state.
To the what?
The Attorney General's office of your state.
Well, I didn't sign it. And in the meantime, my husband has deceased after this was about 8 months later. But I was always curious that I told her I believe that's not the right way to do.
I would say it is not the right way to do to a point that it is illegal.
Well, that's what I thought. But then I've just been curious since, so I wanted to
And
satisfy.
also, I tell you one thing, that nursing home probably could have its license lifted.
I wondered about that, too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
That's what Bernard Meltzer says.
Yeah.
Good evening, my friend. Welcome to Talknet.
Hello,
Hello.
Dr. Belser.
Yes, my friend.
I have a short question, but it'll take a couple seconds to explain it.
Take all the time you want.
Oh, you're so nice. I just discovered you 2 weeks ago. You are wonderful to listen to.
How'd you find us?
I sell encyclopedias, and at night I don't want to hear rock and roll, and you were just so wonderful to hear. You have such a soothing voice.
Someday somebody's going to tell me the way you discovered me is because the network was advertised with Bernard Meltzer on it. Someday somebody will tell me that.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway, let's go to your problem.
Well, sir, I had cancer in 1981, and I was 26 years old.
Right.
And it was simple. If there's any kind of cancer that's simple, it was simple colon cancer in the fact that it had not spread. And so, but it was found very accidentally from, pain and everything. So my gynecologist started the operation. Halfway through it, when he found the cancer, they didn't know what they were looking for, what the pain was from. he got another doctor, and a surgeon finished the operation.
Right.
And so that was at the beginning, and they had me come back in 3 months because, they had
that
not
was
been...
26 years ago, so tell me what happened.
Okay, well, no, I was only 26. This has only been about 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, I get it.
What happened? I went back in 3 months later. They got the rest of the colon, the cancer of the colon, and I have a colostomy. The doctor accidentally cut the ureter, one of the ureters, which is a tube from your kidney to your bladder.
Yeah.
And he told my husband, I was married at the time, and I'm not anymore. He left after everything that happened. And he told my family he was sorry he had accidentally cut the ureter, and he said it 3 times.
Right.
We didn't know that was a serious situation.
Your question to me is what, my friend?
My question is, while I laid in the hospital, I had a stroke and phlebitis set in, and my left leg was amputated. We feel like it was the cut from the ureter. We went to court after 2 years. I had an attorney from out of state.
What happened? Not because I
lost the court case.
You lost. In other words, you had what is called a medical malpractice case.
Yes, sir.
And you lost.
And I lost. I live in
I'm
the
sorry
South.
to hear that, honey. So what question would you like to ask Bernard Meltzer?
I want to know, they appealed it one time. I want to know, can you go one more step with it? And
that I cannot tell you. It depends what happened on the appeal. I suspect the answer is yes if you take it further, but I don't know.
How many years do you have?
In other words, you can go to a higher court. In other words, how many years, I do not know. That's a question you're going to have to ask your attorney.
Thank you.
Thank you, friend. Our phone number coast to coast is 1-800-223-4141. I am Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet.
This is Washington's Station of the Stars. Now, let's get back to Talknet and more interesting calls and your host on 980 WRC.
Someone to talk to, something to share, someone you know who will always be there. Tune in, turn on, Talknet. We care.
Hey, good evening, my friends. Welcome you to Talknet. I am Bernard Meltzer, your weekend host on Talknet, with you every Saturday and every Sunday night, and thank you for joining me here tonight. I hope to make this a very pleasant night for you, a program that brings you solid information, ranging all the way from affairs of the pocketbook to affairs that touch the heart, a program that brings you real drama, real people, real problems, a program of goodwill. Our phone number coast to coast is toll free. Here it is, 1-800-223-4141, 1-800-223-4141. I'm Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet. I would be delighted if you would think of me as a trusted family member, perhaps brother, perhaps uncle, perhaps dad, perhaps cousin. But what's more important, I hope by now I've earned the privilege of being considered a trusted family member, your family. Good evening, my friend. Are you there? Welcome.
Good evening, Bernard Nelson.
You're welcome.
I want to ask you a question about power of attorney and how important it is. My husband and I are in our early 70s,
right.
And I think it's important that we should have a power of attorney.
Power of attorney for what? What do you want to do?
Say we're traveling somewhere, and something would happen to us. I have 2 daughters.
Well, if you're traveling somewhere and something happens to you, and the good Lord takes you in the process, the power of attorney is no good. A power of attorney expires the moment your life expires.
Yes, but say we were hurt and in the hospital and needed care, or maybe can't direct her to do anything.
All right. So therefore, you want to give your daughter what? A general power of attorney to do what?
That's what I would say. Say we were hurt and couldn't take care of our business affairs.
All right.
Isn't it important we have one?
Well, what do you want your daughter to do?
Well, say I need things transacted, bills paid, and you can't do
In
it.
other
if
words,
you're-
you want to give your daughter all that power. Suppose your daughter goes in and strips your bank account while you're still very healthy and hale and hearty. What would you think of that? You would say it can't happen. It isn't my daughter, right?
Yeah, it is my daughter.
No, you're going to say to me, my daughter won't do it. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Suppose I tell you many parents have told me that too, after the bank account is down to zero.
Yeah.
You give a power of attorney only for a special reason.
Well, she is executress of our will.
Okay, let me also put it this way.
Yeah.
Let's say you were traveling in Europe and a real estate closing was coming up. Then you give your daughter the power of attorney to represent you at the closing and sign the necessary papers, but only that for that one moment.
Mm-hmm.
Or let's say that you needed, I don't know what, your daughter was going to the West Coast.
Yeah.
And you wanted her to do certain way of legal documents. You give her power of attorney.
Yeah.
But only then. You don't give a general power of attorney. And then you say, what happens to me if the good Lord makes me so that I can't carry on my business? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's what I'm thinking about.
Therefore, you don't do that by power of attorney. You do that in another way. Your daughter would go into court and act as your conservator, or give it another name, as your guardian, whatever you want. That's a much preferred way for one reason.
Yeah.
Because in that way, your daughter would have to account to the court where the money's going, what she's doing.
Oh, I see.
As a power of attorney, there's nothing at all, no explanation at all.
Oh, I just wanted to know. I really thought, we do trust her. You know, we really, our two daughters are very close to us.
Well,
but
I hope...
I'm asking your advice.
No, I'm saying you don't give your daughter's power of attorney except for specific situation. You don't give her a general power of attorney. Not at all. Thanks, friend.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Let me remind you, a friend is a person with whom I should rather say you dare to be yourself. That's what friends are for. Good evening, my friend. You are on Talknet.
Hello. 13 years old. And my dream for the future is to be an aeronautical engineer.
That's good.
I'd like to know how to go about becoming that, and like the courses in college to take.
First of all, you first got a problem of getting through high school, okay?
Yeah.
You'll take a general academic course with heavy concentration in science and math, okay? And then, of course, you have a 4-year college course ahead of you, with general concentration in science and math. And after that, you then go on to graduate school to become an aeronautical engineer.
Okay.
You have to be very smart in mathematics and very smart in sciences, physics and chemistry and hydraulics and everything else. Okay. Now do you know how to become an aeronautical engineer?
Yes. Thank you.
Why do you want to be one?
I like space and I like working on gadgets and all.
Yeah, but do you know what an aeronautical engineer does?
Yes.
What?
I've heard it's a person working on stuff like airplanes
and rockets and so on. Yeah. That's true. It's a very good position, but it's very tough.
Yes.
It's a very tough position. But you have to be very smart. Are you very smart?
Well, I'm in all honors classes at Sugar Land Junior High.
Well, in that case, you'll make it as an aeronautical engineer.
Well, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good evening, my friend. Welcome to Talknet.
Hi.
Hiya.
Dr. Nelson?
Yes, my friend.
My name
By the way,
Guy.
just to get my name straight, it's Meltzer, Meltzer. Not that I mind.
Okay.
It's like seltzer with an M.
Okay. My My name is Scott, and I get, me and my roommate get prank calls all the time.
What do you do? From women?
We don't know who it is.
And what do they threaten your life?
Pardon?
These crank calls, what do they do? Keep you up at night? Threaten your life?
Yeah, they get us up at night and do it.
And they ask you for dates, Scott?
No, they don't say anything.
How
when
old are
we
you,
pick up
Scott?
the phone, it rings about twice when we pick it up.
How old are you, Scott?
I'm 21.
I have an idea of some of your friends playing tricks on you. What to do, right?
Pardon?
I say what to do about them.
Yeah, that's what I want to know is what...
Have you spoken to the telephone company?
No, we weren't sure what to do.
Well, try with the telephone company. That's step number one. If it gets obnoxious enough, they'll put a tracer on it. Go to the telephone company, Scott. Thanks. Good evening, my friend. Welcome to Talknet.
Thank you. I'm calling from Miami, Florida.
Welcome, Miami.
Frequently.
How's the weather down there?
Well, it's beautiful. It's warm. It's probably in the 70s.
Well, that's what we had up here in New York today.
Is that right?
Yep.
I have a brand new jacket, a suede jacket. I had the sleeves shortened privately. I took the jacket to a dry cleaner's to have pressed, not cleaned.
Right.
And when my husband got the jacket out, he brought it home. It was horrible. The sleeves looked like they had glue on them, and the whole lapel looked like it had been scorched.
What happened?
I took the jacket back, and the man was very nice, and he said, "Oh, that was awful, and they would certainly make it right." And then I went back a couple of times to get it, and it wasn't ready. Finally, I went back in a couple of days ago on Friday to get it. It was ready, and it was worse than it was when I took it back.
Was it ruined?
It is ruined. One whole side looks like it has been scorched. It's a gray jacket. It looks like it's...
No, all right. Let me ask some questions. The man in the cleaning shop, what does he say?
He said, he started showing me, it's not the same man that I took it to originally. He started showing me stuff in a book about suede, dyeing and this, that, and the other that has to be cleaned and all, but it was not supposed to be cleaned. It was only supposed to be pressed.
My good friend, let me now get you straight, okay? I imagine you call me to tell you how to solve the problem.
Yes, sir.
I have questions to ask you. What did the suede jacket cost you?
I ordered it through Sears catalog. I have all the receipts on it, and it came to $108.
All right, $108.
Plus I had to pay $20 to a lady to have the sleeves shortened.
All right, that's $128.
It's never been worn.
Never been worn.
No, sir.
Okay, now, here's what I suggest you do. Go into small claims court, swear out a complaint for $128 against the cleaning shop, and then wait for it to come up. And I'm pretty sure, based upon what you tell me, most of the $128 will come back to you.
Okay.
What may not come back to you is the $20.
For the shortening of the cleaning.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, the $108 will come back to you. Try it, my friend.
And how do
And also, the answer is this. When you give something to be cleaned, if they accept it for cleaning and it's ruined, they are to blame, no matter what the reason is. The theory behind it being that they're experts, and if something should not be cleaned, then they hand it back and they say no. The answer is no.
Well, that's why I took it to them, because they have a big sign saying that they're experts in suede.
Well, it doesn't matter, honey.
Right.
Whatever they did to ruin the jacket, they are guilty.
Right.
And
now, should I go ahead and take the jacket out? I refuse to take it out Saturday.
No, take it out because you'll bring it in as evidence in small claims court.
I should go ahead and take it out then.
Right. Thank you. I am Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet.
And now it's time to return to more of your telephone calls and discussion with your host, Bernard Meltzer, on 980 AM WRC.
You know, there's a lot of book knowledge in my answers, also a lot of life experience in my answers, also years of study, also years of doing things, also years of learning. learning from my mistakes and learning from the mistakes of others. So by now, I think I can guide you so that you do not make too many mistakes. Good evening, friend. You are on Talknet.
Friend Meltzer, in 1984, I invested in what I thought was an interest in real estate.
Right.
It turned out to be an investment in managed properties. Did I ever get burned? Since 84, in June 86, they went into Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Right.
And as of now, they used to give me these forms, 4562 for depreciation and amortization and all that stuff.
Right.
And Schedule Each for supplemental income.
Right.
Now I got a letter from IRS. They want all correspondence I ever had to do with them. Plus, they want all those 4562 things and all the sales agreements and purchases agreements.
Right.
And I have no much objection with that. However, if I give them all those papers, what will I ever have to show that I ever have any investment in case there is some
Well,
kind
now, wait a while. You make copies of them and give them the copies.
Just giving them copies.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, what the gentleman is talking about is investments in real estate tax shelters, managed properties. The reason why I'm laughing, there were a couple of companies doing that. On my other show in New York on WOR, they wanted to run some ads. They said, Bernard Meltzer, people listen to you. Once I got the information, I said, you're not right. Bernard Meltzer's not running ads for you.
I never got involved with this as I knew it was managed properties. I thought I was actually buying into some real estate. And the first things I got from him looked almost like a deed, but it wasn't.
The salesmen were excellent. The salesmen were super salesmen, weren't they?
No, this poor bugger was sucked in on the same way as I was.
Okay.
I
Thanks,
feel
friend.
sorry for him.
Bye-bye. Good evening, my friend. Welcome to Talknet. Welcome, my friend. Hello? I hear somebody there. I think we lost him. Good evening, friend. Hello? Something's happening to our... Bernadette, what's happening to all our calls? We'll try again. Good evening. Welcome, friend. We've lost our calls. In this day and age of all kind of gimmicks and gadgets, you walk into this control room, it seems like something out of the space age, which it is, and now I don't know what to do. Jose, are you there to come in and help me? Nick, are you there?
Hello?
Oh, yeah. Where'd you come from?
Hello?
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Dr. Meltzer.
Thank you very much.
How you?
Where were you hiding?
I got cut off.
Oh, you did?
I apologize.
I apologize for you getting cut off because we lost all our calls all of a sudden. And we have the board's lit up again once more. Go ahead.
Let me tell you what I'm calling about.
Go ahead.
If I'm not mistaken, you are married to a foreign lady?
No.
You're not. A Chinese by any chance?
No, you got the wrong man.
Oh, I apologize. The reason why I was calling, the lady called earlier about giving her daughter's power of attorney.
Yeah.
I think that I kind of disagree with you, and I'll tell you the reason why.
Why?
I think that that's one of the reasons why there's a problem in the American family today.
No, look, we are not discussing problems in the American family, my friend. What we're discussing, what a power of attorney means. And I've learned from experience that general power of attorney given to a child or to a friend allows them to move in and strip your bank accounts, cash in your insurance policies, cash in your bonds, do anything they want to. It's a very dangerous procedure. Power of attorney should not be given out except under very unusual circumstances. Thanks, friend. Good evening. Welcome here to Talknet. Hello? Are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Yes, my friend.
Yeah, I'm thinking of filing bankruptcy sometime in the future.
You're thinking of what?
Filing bankruptcy.
Why?
Well, I've got too much debt right now. I'm getting ready to lose my job, and I'm thinking of doing this.
All right. How old are you, friend?
32.
What's your income?
Right now, it's about 29.
All right. How much money do you owe?
28.
28,000.
Right.
Consisting of what? What kind of debts do you have?
Mostly credit cards.
And have you tried talking to them? Maybe they'll, instead of filing bankruptcy, maybe they're willing to mark the debt down a little bit.
I don't know. I haven't tried yet.
I would say before you file for bankruptcy, I suggest you do one thing. Sit down and talk to them or write to them. If not, then of course, in your case, with no other way out, bankruptcy may be the answer. But remember, bankruptcy is major surgery. And you want to undergo major surgery when you have to. I'm Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet. My friend, welcome to the program that brings you human interest in drama, entertainment, and also variety, of course. And our phone number, coast to coast, is toll-free, 1-800-223-4141. Good evening, friend.
Dr. Meltzer?
Yes.
I have a question about, I'm 32.
Right.
And I'm not married.
Right.
And I'm happy being single. But I don't understand the apathy that older women have towards me.
You mean they're angry?
I don't understand that because to me they have everything. They have a husband, they have kids, they have 2 cars, a dog, a cat.
Well, when does this, let's say, opposition occur? At a party?
Mostly at my job.
Well, because keep in mind this, you are threatening to them.
But I don't understand why.
Whether it's true or not, it's kind of a lot of women who don't get along with their husbands and the husband disappears, will say he ran off with a younger woman. Mm-hmm. This is kind of built into our culture. Mm-hmm. And therefore many ladies who, let's say, are not doing 100% in the marriage, see you around and say, hey, she's potentially trouble. That's the answer.
But I don't understand that.
Yeah, but whether you do anything or not doesn't mean anything. But they look upon, I imagine you are rather attractive, aren't you?
Yes, I have no problem with men.
And that's why the women around have problems with you, because they think because you have no problems with them, maybe you're attracting their husband.
I have no interest in married men.
Doesn't matter, honey. This is just a semi-fantasy.
Okay, it just puzzles me.
Yes, but remember, someday you are not going to be very attractive. Keep that in mind, too.
I understand that.
And you'll go through the same thing.
I will?
Yes, you will.
But the thing that puzzles me is I know older women, and some of them are delightful. But some of them are so spiteful, and I don't want to be like that.
Well, that's why people vary all over the map. Some people are nice, and some people not nice. That's an old story. All I hope is that you are nice, that's all, when you get older. Remember this, the old saying, as you are now, I used to be. As I am now, someday you will be. You understand what I just said?
No, does that apply to me?
You want me to repeat it?
Uh-huh.
And it applies to young people like you. As you are now,
okay,
I used to be.
Okay.
As I am now, someday you will be.
Like that.
That's right. That's Bernard Meltzer's philosophy.
Okay.
Good evening, friend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
My friend, welcome here to Talknet.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to have the opportunity to get your advice.
Thank you.
I'm in the process of almost buying a condominium, and mind you, I've never purchased anything so big before.
Right.
And the one that I'm interested in is for sale by owner, and I don't have a real estate agent, and they don't have a real estate agent. It would be a transaction that's occurring between 2 individuals.
Right.
I would like your advice and tips on how to go about this, as far as doing the contract and.
Well, first of all,
go ahead.
Since the main job of the real estate agent is to bring buyer and seller together.
Uh-huh.
Buyer and seller have been brought together now. Now let's say you need an attorney who will negotiate for you as to what should be included in the contract, the terms under which you're buying, the price. and the financing, a lot of other things. That's all.
Okay, so you're saying that now I need to look for an attorney?
Who knows real estate?
Do you have any suggestion on how to find this in cost?
All right, I'll tell you what you do. Do you have a bank account, a savings bank?
Credit union.
All right. You go and talk to the credit union people and say, hey, what attorney do you use in your real estate problems, your real estate closings? And they'll tell you who it is and use that attorney. Because it means one thing, that attorney at least has knowledge of real estate and he's honorable.
Okay, so you don't think there's any, you wouldn't suggest doing it without an attorney?
Not in your case, because you're liable to get taken badly.
Okay.
Okay?
And have what further, last question, but it's also related to the same thing.
Right.
Down payment, for example. Say the condo is selling for maybe $65,000, for example.
Right.
What do you suggest? Do you suggest putting a large down payment in it?
Well, how old are you, friend?
I'm 29 years old.
And how much money do you have saved up? All your money?
All my money is about $15,000.
Well, you cannot put a large down payment. In your case, I would say no more than 20%, possibly less.
Possibly. Because if they have FHAs, and if I qualify for FHA, and I've heard both ways. I've heard, put as little as you can down or put a lot down.
No, don't put a little down, don't put a lot down, put down enough. How much money do you have?
About $15,000.
Therefore, I would say you're buying something around 60?
Yeah, 65.
All right, if you put down 10%, that's all I want you to put down, because then you'll have about $2,000 or $3,000 of closing costs. That's $9,000. I'll give you about $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 left over. And that's exactly what you never should strip yourself all the way of cash.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Glad to help you.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet. This comes from my collection of common sense items, and it says, we find that a person who cannot forget is much worse off than a person who cannot remember, which is true. Let me repeat that for your guidance. A person who cannot forget is a lot worse off than a person who can't remember. Good evening, my friend. You are on Talknet. Welcome.
Hello.
Yes, my friend.
Doctor, my name is Mary, and I had a question about finding a real birth parent.
Right.
My husband was adopted when he was 9 years old, and he's trying to look for his parents. Do you have any kind of an idea how he'd be able to start looking for
Why does your
them?
husband want to look for his real, I'll say natural parents? Why?
Natural parent, yes.
Why?
Well, we're married, we have 2 kids, and he remembers his mom and dad. He was old enough to know them when he was taken away, and he would like to show them his family and try to get to know them a little bit again.
Question is, why haven't his parents tried to find him?
I really don't know.
See, sometimes you open up a situation that is embarrassing all around and leads to a lot of pain. Number one, his adopted parents, do they kind of feel that maybe he doesn't have complete faith in them? What do you think of that? How does he get along with them?
How did he get along with them?
Yep.
I really don't know. From what I understand, they were alcoholics when he was taken away.
No, I'm talking about the parents that adopted him.
Oh, the
Are you
parents
close with
adopted
him?
him? How do they feel?
Yeah.
Well, his mom said that she'd help him, but, I'm pretty sure she would feel hurt.
Is he close to them now?
No, not really. They're on a friendship basis, but he was like 10 or 11 when he was adopted by them.
Next question is, was he adopted out of an orphan asylum or by the court, or how? By an attorney? How did it work?
Adopted by the court.
And the records are sealed?
Until his youngest sister is 18. That's about 6 months away.
And the records will then be opened up?
When a couple years ago, he wrote a letter to the judge, and according to that paper, as I read it, It said that he had to wait until his youngest sister was 18 years old.
And he does know who his youngest sister is.
Oh, yeah.
So
His
therefore,
mom and dad that he has now adopted all 5 children.
all 5 children. And therefore, the court right now is willing to say, when youngest child is 18, we will open up the records. So therefore, why not wait the 6 months?
Well, my mom doesn't think that they'll give the records to him.
Well, your mom doesn't know. It might very well be. See, and there's another reason also. If he, in effect, says, one of the reasons why I want to know is because, for genetic reasons, very often they'll do that. And very often what the courts will now do is if the parents, the natural parents are alive, they will contact the natural parents to see if they offer any objection to the information being given out.
And I'd have to go through the courts to do this?
So I would say right now, do nothing until 6 months from now to see what the courts will reveal. I also think that your hubby ought to get an attorney to deal with the courts, because after all, that's what courts are for, attorneys and judges. Thanks, friend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I am Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet.
You're listening to Talknet in the nation's capital on 980 WRC. If you'd like to participate, the toll-free number is 800-223-4141.
Our toll-free number is 1-800-223-4141. I wish you would think of me as a friend to lean on when you need help, when the world's closing in on you, when you are depressed, when you need answers, because I will try very hard to be a friend to you. Good evening, friend. You're listening to Talknet and Bernard Meltzer.
Hi.
Hiya.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a phone magazine reader service type thing that keeps calling me. We have 2 lines in our home, and they have called on my parents' line and my line. And
they're calling you for what reason?
they want to sell me magazines. It's a service that will run for like 4 years.
Right.
Okay. They have already sent the magazines, and I have told them time and time again that I don't want the magazines.
Right.
And now they're calling me and telling me that I need to pay my bill. But I have told them that I didn't want the magazines in the first place.
All right. Now, here's what you better do. Are you listening carefully? Because if you do nothing, they are going to get you in trouble. You sit down and you write a letter and say, "Dear whoever you are, I'm telling you now, I will not pay for the magazines. I did not order them. And therefore, by federal and state law, when you do not order something, you don't have to pay for it. Thank you very much. Stop sending it." And you'll find that it'll take about 3 months before they'll stop sending it. In other words, every time they send you the bill of the magazines or anything else, you've got to write them the letter. And the computer, being very dumb, will take about 3 months to clear it up. You got that?
Okay, well, I have written to them, and I have told them...
No, it's not a question. What you have to say to them, you didn't listen very carefully. I said federal and state law says when you don't order magazines or don't order anything, you do not have to pay for them. That's got to be in your letter.
Okay.
And also, you can add, if you want to, stop harassing me. Because by harassing me, you also add you're violating regulations of the Federal Trade Commission. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
They keep telling me that they have a recording of me telling them that I want these magazines.
Well, that is baloney. Of course, we get so many complaints. My radio family, let's listen to right now. I've got to guide you, what this lady's bringing up. What happens is these services call you up and start telling you a lot of baloney that you should be getting the magazines, and they get you to say yes. And they record this without your permission. And they know they can't do it. They know it's illegal. But they record it anyway, and then they come back and scare you. So my good friend, when you're talking to these people who are selling magazines, hang up on them. Don't be polite to them. Because they're going to get you in a position where you say yes, and they're going to do to you what they've done to this lady. They say, "We have a recording." The answer is, still say what I said. You didn't order them, you don't pay for them, and let them take their recording into court or enter a complaint against them. They're not allowed to do this. You understand what I just said?
I do.
What you do is you tell them that you can enter a complaint against them with both the state and the federal government. Thanks, friend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
A sign on the bulletin board says, your salary increase will become effective just as soon as you are more effective. That's a good one. Good evening, friend. Welcome to Talknet.
Hello.
Yeah.
Doctor. Hello?
Come aboard.
Hello.
Yes, you're on the air.
Okay. Yes, I'm having a problem.
By the way, were you listening to the radio then?
No.
So, in other words, you were not listening to the radio.
No, I don't.
Why couldn't you hear us?
I don't know.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. I lived with a girl for a year.
Right.
We broke up about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Now, my question is, she more or less said that we might get back together. I'm wanting to know, should I pursue it or leave it alone?
Why did you break up?
Well, she works days, I work nights.
Right.
And a couple times I would go out with my friends and come home, and she did not like that.
Well, I imagine she wouldn't.
Well, I mean, but...
Did she go out with her friends and come back and you didn't like it either?
Well, see, that's some of the problem, because I told her that she could, and she didn't.
Right.
But yet when I did it, she would get mad.
Now, of course, that you broke up, you want her back.
Yes, but... and
now, wait a while, I've got a question to ask you.
Okay.
Did she tell you this? There was a chance that we can get together after, as you were breaking up?
Okay, we talked, and she said,
when,
leave
as
me
you...
alone right now, but in a couple months, I might call you.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if I want to... I don't want to hang around for 2 months. I want to know more or less...
My good friend, if you want anything, you go after it.
Okay. Now...
what you do is you send her flowers, you send her a little note, send her a little gift,
well,
call her up and invite her out, and something like that.
I was going to rent billboards. And then I told her this, and she said, that sounds like something that you would do, like...
Now, my good friend, make it more personal. Listen to Uncle Bernard. If you want her back, and you can test her whether she's willing to come back, is you start sending her personal things. Send her a note apologizing and thanking her for the company. Send her flowers. You hear what I said?
Yeah.
Invite her out to a movie and take her to a good restaurant. And then you'll know whether she wants to come back or not. It may very well be. But listen to me one thing, then you can talk. It may very well be that when a breakup takes place, very often a woman will say what she said to you because she wants you out and doesn't want you to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So find out whether she meant it or not by doing what I said. Now you can go.
Okay.
Okay?
A bunch of friends have said not to pursue her, but girls say go for it, because
my good friend, if you're going to listen to friends and they're going to make your decisions, then you're going to go crazy. This is a personal relationship between you and a girl.
I guess that's what some of the problem is.
The problem is right between... I would tell you right now, probably your friends are a cause of the breakup. Instead of going out with him, you should have paid attention to her.
Well, that could very well be also.
Yep. How old are you?
I'm 26.
By this time, you should know how to court a lady.
Oh, yeah. I've lived with others before, but I've always left.
Well...
This was a new twist that I was
This was a new twist because she probably saw right through you.
And, well, I'm a bartender also.
Okay. My good friend, if you want her back, you go after her, the way I said. Thank you very much. I am Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet. This program is a combination of human interest and drama and information. You learn as you listen. You learn as you are being entertained. Good evening, my friend. You are on Talknet.
Hello, Dr. Meltzer.
Yes, friend.
My husband and I took an early retirement.
Right.
We lived in Florida. 6 months ago, we moved to Michigan, where my son lives.
Right.
I made a terrible mistake. I overpaid on a home up here. I paid $66,000 for it.
Right.
It's not worth more than $59,000.
Yep.
I'm trying to sell it. It's because the mortgage is kind of high. I have $10,000 in the property.
In other words, you bought it, what, for $66,000?
Yes.
Put $10,000 in, you have $56,000 mortgage?
Well, no, I didn't assume. I took it subject to a mortgage, a bank mortgage of $36,000.
36?
And then I got a land contract from the owner for the difference.
Right.
So I owe the owner $15,000 on the land contract. Well, no, $15,000, and
you're making payments on both of them.
I'm making payments. It comes to $650.
A lot of money.
It is a lot of money. My utilities are ridiculously high, and I still have a 16-year-old.
So your question to me is what?
I have a little house in Florida that, thank goodness, we called off the sale of it.
Right.
The taxes are much lower. I don't know how to get out of this.
Out of what? The thing in Michigan?
Yes.
Why don't you go see a real estate agent and see what he suggests?
I did, and
what did they suggest?
It goes against my grain, but he told me to stop making the payments. He said, after he hopes that he'll get an offer on the property, he doesn't think he's going to get more than 60, maybe 62.
All right, now let's find out. The property you have against it how much? A $15,000
land contract.
Oh, let me call it a second. And a first of how much?
36.
So therefore, that adds up to $51,000.
And 5, the real estate agent put her commission.
No, forget about the real estate agent. Did you sign?
Well, I owe her on a note too.
How do you owe her on a note?
She gave the additional $5,000 to the seller so that he would come away with more money. I don't know why she did it. She did it the last minute.
Were you sane when you did all this?
No, I really wasn't.
So now you owe $56,000.
Right.
So therefore, why don't you sell it for $60,000 yourself? Or why don't you sell it for $56,000 with $1? In other words, the buyer takes over all the obligations, and you get maybe $100 or $1,000. That's another way out of this.
Say that again.
In other words, you're selling, let's say, for $1,000 above the current obligations, and you don't need a realtor for this.
Sell it for $67,000, you mean?
No, sell it for $57,000.
I'm going to lose $10,000.
Well, you're telling me you cannot sell it.
Oh, you're telling me to lose the $10,000 that I have?
Because I'm telling you to get rid of it and get back to Florida where you're comfortable. Sometimes you have to take a loss.
Cut my losses.
Because you bought the wrong property and paid the wrong price.
Well, what do you think if I wait a couple of months without making payments? If an offer comes in, the real estate agent said that...
Yeah, but wait a while. Right now, if you let them foreclose on you, you kill your credit right down the line. If they get a deficiency judgment, they'll go after your Florida property.
They will.
The real estate agent is not giving you good advice. So I would say sell it as fast as you can, with as little money down as possible. You'll get a buyer. And you don't need an agent to sell it this way. Go see a real estate attorney. He'll guide you on this thing.
All right.
You understand?
Yes.
Now, you see what you did. How come you loaded yourself up this way?
I really don't know. I was so anxious to come up here to see my grandchildren. I don't know. I have no excuse. I just have no excuse.
And by the way, who told you the property was worth $66,000 when you bought it?
The agent who sold it to me at the time said it was worth $69,000, and I made an offer for $66,000, and I figured only $10,000 down. What could I lose? But
my Raising a family, the reason why I'm asking you these questions now is to show what kind of trouble you can get yourself into when you rely sometimes on what an agent tells you what it's worth. Remember, the agent is trying to sell.
I know.
He's trying to sell. He's not your agent, too. He's the agent of the seller.
I know. I've bought many houses in my lifetime, and I know better, but I got caught. I don't know.
So that's why sometimes I'm telling you it is much better to cut your losses and get out than to do what you're trying to do, hang on, because each month it costs you, what, over $600?
$650 a month.
And in the course of a year...
We're moving out. I'm just going to leave the house, but I'm afraid...
Honey, cut your losses and go. The clock says Bernard Meltzer, you're through for the day, but we'll be back next week, Saturday and Sunday. That's our time here on Talknet. I'm Bernard Meltzer, and this is Talknet.